Surrounded. Kreider to the point. Panarin shoots, blocked by Slavin. Sharp angle shot. Vincent Trocheck!
Looking back for Marchenko. Score! Marchenko shoots and scores. Now Olivier in with a shot. He scored. Marchenko shoots. He scored.
A lot going on the deadline and everything, but I think all anyone can do right now is take it day by day.
We had a great start. Drew a penalty, scored in the power play. Then it's funny how the game works. All of a sudden it's 3-0. They're booing again, and it's hard. So.
Oh, homie. If you feel so bad about yourself, there's always things you can do to feel better.
Take another bath in malt liquor.
There's that.
The middle is going to be played by Mayfield on the backhand. Is on it in front of the lead. Bangs it home. Played it. There's a shot that's denied by Greaves. Islanders scratch the crease. And it's in. J.G. Pajot going hard to the blue paint. Mayfield. That shot pinballs into the goal. Simon Holmstrom barging toward the net, cutting in, and he scores. Pull off with room, Schaefer one-timer, and that feathers to the top of the cage. Score! It floats across the line! I believe it. For a long time. Palat sets up Schaefer. Score! Islanders lead!
Cross the line.
Comes Lee to the net. Score!
That looked good.
Anders Lee with a half-minute to go!
Hey everyone! Come and see how good I look!
Yeah, and the Islanders are looking good, although hold on a minute. You got somebody missing from the show right here. Hello, Mr. Rocco. Let's get you in. Gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of Big Apple Hockey, everybody. And we thought we were going to have a busier week so far, but the NHL it's trade deadline week. Where are all the trades, guys? I mean, if you want to save them for Friday afternoon, we don't mind, because we are going to have a long day.
Nothing tomorrow night.
Yeah, please, nothing tomorrow night. Absolutely nothing tomorrow night. All right. And of course, it is a great week, and I can't believe it was 666 days, not evoking Satan, but I'm just saying that is the number from that.
No, just the number of the beast, buddy.
Well, I almost started my song lyrics, unlike the ones you got like right there, Phil. But I, of course, guys, I'm your host, Mark Williams. Happy to be doing this once again. Intrigued by the storylines that's going on from Madison Square Garden, especially. But the man that's here to break them down with me, the host of the Final Buzzer, Mr. John Volkowski.
Yeah, Josh got it. Yeah, as I knew he would. He would get it right away. But, yeah, this is going to be an interesting next few days. Thankfully, the big guns haven't been moved yet. There's still some talk around some big names that we're going to talk about in a bit, but it's shaping up to be a nice trade deadline. I know that, sometimes it starts off a little slow and boring, and then the flurry of deals picks up somewhere between 11 and 12 o'clock, maybe even 1 o'clock. And then, then everything just goes ballistic, and it's just deal after deal after deal. And you're like, whoa, like, where is this one coming from? So we'll talk about surprise names as well. This is something that we'll talk about too at some point during the show. So I just wanted to let you know that I was highlighting that one to get back to it later. But yeah, Anthony has joined us. Let's go over to Mr. LaRocco, see how things are on the island there, buddy.
Yeah, coming off a shootout win from a men's league team this morning, so that's good. Although I must say I tried to get cute and do the famous Forsberg move in the shootout, and I got stoned. So there's that. But listen, for hockey nerds like us, let's face it, we are hockey nerds. This is an exciting time of the year, trade deadline. Obviously, when your team is going to make the playoffs, I think it's a little more exciting when you're buying, but nonetheless, trades are trades, and we like to see them. So we'll see what transpires. And, so far it's a weird year. Guys, usually like the days leading up to the trade deadline, there are a lot of trades, and where everyone's saying, oh, there's going to be no one left. Friday is going to be boring. And so far, that's the opposite right now. Right now, it's like no one's been traded yet. I know Tyler Myers went today, but at this point in his career, that's a depth move. It's nothing really huge. So far, it's like everyone's still on the board. So we'll see what happens. It's hopefully that equates to an exciting Friday. But also too, listen, things can change on a dime. There could be a bunch of trades today and tomorrow, and it ends up being the same old song and dance. But right now, it's shaping up to hopefully be very impactful. And as for the comment, me pull the Malik move, that's I didn't even think about doing that when I was going in. I thought I was gonna do Forsberg all the way and torch him, and it didn't end up good for me. But
now, Anthony, actually, before we even start the A block, I do have to ask you this. So, shootout move, you kind of know what you're going to do right away. Breakaway, I always say you have a move in your head and you hit the blue line, and then you try to react to what the goalie's giving you. But is your default move the Forsberg?
No, it's not my default move. Usually, I just, I'll just kind of do a quick, head fake, shoulder fake, and go forehand, backhand. But I just tried to do something a little different today.
When I was younger and I was a little bit more skilled, I used to deke him down on the backhand, turn my skates and skate backwards and just roof it on the forehand. But, not as skilled as what I used to be. I ain't as good as I once was, as Toby Keith would say. But enough about that, guys. We got a lot of hockey we got to talk about. So let's get to the A block, which is brought to you by SeatGeek. Use the promo code Big Apple Hockey for $20 off your first order. And there's the ticker. There's our Big Apple Hockey trucker shirts and hats are available. I, of course, forgot to wear mine. I'm wearing a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles shirt right now. And Dave, I have yours. I just need to get it to you. So more on just some of the breaking news. If there are trades that break during the show, especially say, for instance, if there's a big one between St. Louis and the New York Islanders, we will stop the show to talk about that, guys. And the trade deadline special Friday, March 6th, we'll be starting at 10:30 in the morning. There'll be guests coming in and out throughout the day. It's going to be definitely. Oh, Phil, I never got to ask you if you're going to be able to start at 10:30 with us. Anthony,
I can.
On that. All right, great. So yeah, it'll be the three of us to start the day, and we're going to have lots more coverage throughout the day, breaking down any trades or potential trades, and the wait is finally over. Just you got to feel it, guys, and also kind of feel it with a little bit of trepidation as well. But breaking news, though, the Vancouver Canucks trade Tyler Myers to Dallas for a second-round pick and a fourth-round pick. As Anthony said, more of a depth move. And there's no H right here, but Nashville has.
And this is also breaking news right here. Is Keith Sherwood got an extension, 5 years, $5.75 million. I'm just going to say it right now. Thankfully, the Rangers were not in on that.
Oh, thank God.
Oh,
I gotta say, I feel the same way with the Islanders. That type of player, 5 years, almost $6 million is not. I don't like it. Not like it.
Yeah, I mean yeah. There were a couple minor trades. Nashville traded Mike McCarron and Cole Smith to Minnesota and Las Vegas last night. Yep. So those are a couple minor players. I mean, we saw Connor Murphy get moved, and there's really not much. So we're kind of, as Anthony has it in his thing, calm before the storm, waiting on that one. Look, I like to start positive when we have to, or whenever we can. And let's start with a positive that happened this week. First off, by the way, the New York Islanders, two-goal comebacks last weekend versus pretty good teams that are contending for a playoff spot.
Three. They were down they were down 2-0 in the last 3 games.
I forgot about Thursday's game, so my bad on that one. See, this is why it's always good to have somebody right there correct me on that. But the New York Islanders, Matthew Schaefer, scoring his 20th goal of the season as the Islanders come back from now 3 2-goal deficits, because I have to include the Montreal Canadiens on there as well. Anthony, looking at his ranks as a rookie, we've talked about the pace that he's been on, but this is now. We're in the now. This is now. And he's got 44 points, which puts him in 12th in the league. 20 goals. That ties him for second in the league and also ties him with Alexei Lafreniere for 20-goal seasons. He's got 24 assists. That's 27th. He can kind of improve on that. That does tie him with Adam Fox, who has done it in far less games. Maybe Adam Fox is a really good defenseman. Mike Sullivan. Anyway, plus 14. Those are all great numbers. You look at the 24 minutes per game, which puts him at 18th among defensemen. Who'd have thought you'd get that from a rookie? Never mind an 18-year-old. But Anthony, is it time to stop talking about Matthew Schaefer as just a Calder Trophy favorite and start talking about him as potentially a Norris finalist?
I mean, yes and no. I mean, Matthew Schaefer, by the time his career is all said and done, I think he's going to have some Norris trophies in his trophy cabinet for sure. But he's, as much as I think he's deserving of it, because he certainly is. I mean, what he's, and not to take away from any of the defensemen that are at, like, the, you know, you said he's 12th, I think you said, defenseman scoring 44 points. Not to take away any you know, credit from those guys, but he's 18 years old, and you know, whereas the defensemen, you know, ahead of him, the Hughes of the world, Makar, Fox, you know, Werenski, all these guys are seasoned and much older, and like he's already on that level. So yeah, I don't think he's going to be a Norris finalist. I mean, I think he'll get some votes, but I don't think he's going to be a, you know, top 3 finalist. But you can make the case that he should. I just know that he's not. But his time will come. And I said from really, you know, ever since the season started and you saw how good he was playing, I think the reason why scouts didn't build him up more leading up to the draft was the fact that he only played in 16 or 17 games because he was hurt with the broken collarbone. I think if he I think if he would have played a whole year, I think there wouldn't have been a debate about who should have gone number 1, because he's really proved to himself that, you know, once he becomes a man and, you know, fills out and he hits his prime, he's going to be right up there with, you know, the Hughes and the Makars and the Foxes of the world, because, you know, doing what he's doing at 18, and it's just there's no superlatives that can kind of think of him. He's been fantastic.
Oh yeah, that's a good point with that one, Mike. Oh, sorry, Brian. I mean, sorry. Oh, I was looking at Mike. I don't know why.
Wow, Mark.
Yeah, geez.
Ichiro was on the ball today.
Well, Phil, so how are you looking at Matthew Schaefer now? Is he a Norris trophy candidate right now?
If by candidate you mean someone that might finish in the top 10 and 15 in voting, yeah.
Let's say top 5.
I don't think he's a finalist. I don't think he's a finalist. I don't see how he's going to get votes over Bouchard, who has 71 points leading all defensemen, Werenski, who should win it, Makar, who's always going to be in the final 3, Quinn Hughes, and then you have Lane Hudson has 60 points in 60 games for Montreal, which is insane. Darren Radish is over a point per game for Tampa, and is one of the big reasons why Tampa is having the year that they've had, especially with Victor Hedman out. Rasmus Dahlin is a big part of Buffalo's surge and has 53 points in 57 games. Miro Heiskanen has 50 points in 59 games for Dallas. Jacob Chychrun leads the NHL with 22 goals for a defenseman. So, I mean,
by the way, didn't make the Olympic roster either.
No. So it just, listen, great year, exceptional year, one of the better rookie years we've seen in recent memory, but not going to happen. I'm sorry. If you want to talk about next year and where he could finish next year, if he keeps this up, he could be a Norris finalist next year. If this trajectory continues, he continues to play the way that he is. I mean, I put the numbers up the other day on Twitter, and that's, I guess you took it from mine, but the numbers are ridiculous for him. I mean, he's not just doing this on the power play and just getting goals and assists off the power play. This guy is doing everything, especially when it comes to even strength. Like, as of yesterday when I posted this, no, this was Monday, I think. This was Monday. So Tied second in goals for a defenseman. Tied 26th in assists, 12th in points, plus minus tied 25th. Even strength goals, 4th for a rookie. For a rookie defenseman, even strength goals, 4th. Even strength points, 15th. Again, for a rookie. Power play goals, 2nd. Okay, fine. Power play points, tied 15th. Time on ice per game, overall 18th. 22nd in even strength power play time, or even strength time on ice. So, yeah, I mean, he's doing everything you can ask for. And I never would have thought that he would have gotten this much of a workload, but he's legitimately already their best defenseman. And it's not close. The only thing that he's not doing is taking the big defensive assignments. He's third in that pecking order. But he's out there 24 minutes a game. And you know what? You thought that, maybe a rookie wall would be hit because he's 18 years old and he only played in, 17 games last year due to that broken collarbone that he sustained at the World Juniors? That was the big thing about him. That's why there was a debate about who was going to go first. Otherwise, he would have been the man and it wouldn't have been close. But, he hasn't hit that rookie wall. And the Olympics helped him rest. So now he's supercharged with all that youthful exuberance and energy to end out this season. I mean, you know what? He won't even finish anywhere close to the top 10 in Hart voting, but he should get some votes his way because he has been the difference for the Islanders.
Yeah, I gotta agree with what both of you guys have said so far. First off, let me just say this, and I'm gonna say it about as politely as I could say it. I will never, if I ever had a vote, ever put Evan Bouchard in with the Norris conversation. He's basically Tyson Berry to me, or I mean, he's like equal opportunity. Sure, yeah, you know what? He can get so many points being on that McDavid power play unit, and he's got a bomb for a shot. Very good. But the amount of turnovers that lead to goals and misplays throughout the season, he gets stronger as the season goes on. Let me give that to him. But no, I'll never put Evan Bouchard in there. I'd already put Matthew Schaefer over him. So there's a lot of good candidates this year. He's not going to be able to make the finalists, as Phil has outlined. And Quinn Hughes and Cale Makar and Zach Werenski, I think those are going to be your 3 finalists at the end. That being said, the fact that we're having this conversation, we've started this season raving about Matthew Schaefer, and the force has only gotten stronger with this one. And he continues to impress every single day. He is the most mentally stable, 18-year-old I've seen in a long time coming into this league. And he just keeps on growing and growing. You wonder when he's fully operational, good luck to the rest of the league. So that's just the way I could feel about that one. But he's 20 goals. He's going to break the rookie record possibly this week, the way that they're playing. And that was held by Brian Leach. He might be the first rookie NHL defenseman to score 30 goals in a season. Think about that one for a second. There are many defensemen that score 30 to begin with. He's going to do it as a rookie, smiling and turning to us and going, "Oh, it was fun, right?" What the hell? This isn't even hard for him right now. This isn't even a challenge. He's just blowing right through everybody. And again, Anthony, I'm going to give you the last word on this to close this out, because we're going to do a lot more trade talk later.
I just want to say one more thing before you go to Anthony.
Go right ahead.
Just the skating and the scoring and everything like that, and the point production and the goals. It's the fact that he has so much poise beyond his years that is just impresses me so much. And for what this kid has dealt with, I lost my mother at the same age as he did to the same thing. Tell you right now, I don't know where the hell my head was. My head was, I don't even know, down in a gutter somewhere, because I wasn't in the right place. But this kid dealing with one of the worst things that can happen to you, has come in and has had the greatest attitude that you can possibly have while playing hockey 10 years his senior.
Yeah.
I mean, it's impressive. Oh my God. I'm just going to say this. I absolutely love that name and that reference. Equilibrium is a fucking awesome movie. Christian Bale was sick in it. Oh, some of the best fight scenes with guns you'll ever see.
On top of it, everybody forgets this. He lost his billet mom that was his house mother when he was in juniors too. He's endured so much more just at 18 than most people have in their lives. And I can't talk about this enough. I know I make the joke about it. I would love to have Matt Martin on just to ask him when's he going to have this sitcom about his life, because that would be great. But Matt Martin, bringing him into his house is one of the best moves possibly in the history of the New York Islanders, because it has brought this seamless transition. And the other thing, just to get one more thing out, I could talk about Matthew Schaefer forever, Matthew Schaefer is the guy that he walks in the locker room, everybody screams his name, he lights up the room, he's so positive, you just can't help but feel it. I wish another New York team had somebody like that.
Oh, I was going to just say that. Oh, if only the other New York team could actually insulate their players, their young players, that is, the right way, and actually give them the support that they need.
Yeah. I guess go with what this question is right now, Anthony.
Yeah, no, that's that. And I was going to bring that up. That, that's a great point. Credit to, Matt Martin and, also the Esiasons and, for providing him with like a stable environment with, a beautiful family and, get, like you said, give him that structure and, that feeling of home, because remember, obviously he doesn't have his mom, his brother and dad live back in Canada, 18-year-old kid with so much, not that this is Montreal, but still pressure of being a first overall pick and, to keep him grounded and to kind of get him in routines and, how he interacts with Matt Martin's young children and how he plays with them and he lets, the girls dress him up and stuff. It's just Matthew Schaefer is inherently a great person. He's went through a lot, so I think that's also kept him grounded. But credit to the Martin family for even helping that go further. But he's been a phenomenal story, and to put the icing on the cake, it's like if the Islanders were bad, it would still be so good that he's doing this way. But the fact that they're headed towards a playoff berth most likely, and him leading the charge. It's just an incredible story. And, the Islanders, now I think in the next 2 days or so, I think they're going to be looking to add a piece. And, lost in all the Schaefer talk specifically, Mark, their last 3 games, they showed a lot of resilience coming down from 2-0 in all those games and finding ways to win a game. You don't want to make that a habit. I mean, it's certainly nice that they have that resiliency and they can do it. And you have that feeling that they're never out of a game. They're always managed to get back in it, and everyone's kind of pulling their weight right now. I mean, those overtime goals obviously Lee's goal was an overtime. That was 30 seconds left, but the Holmstrom goal was beautiful. Went wide.
That was a sick goal.
Same thing with Lee. Lee like put on afterburners I didn't know he had and just cut to the net and pulled off a great move around the goalie and in the net. So. Everybody's contributing and they're winning games and, starting to get some separation between some of these teams that are chasing them. So now the ball's in Mathew Darche's court because they certainly have earned an addition.
Just to say this, Anthony, because I've been talking about this at the bar all week. And it's just, if you looked at the stat packs for the Islanders, you'd wonder how the hell this team is even this good. And the only word I can describe for them is pesky. They are pesky. You can't kill them. They are in every game. And as you said, and I corrected the graphic right here, 3 2-goal deficits in the last couple of games. Appropriate, by the way, that the Montreal game was 2 goals by Noah Dobson and then 2 goals by Matthew Schaefer. Phil, can go right ahead.
One word for you. It's the difference between this year and last year. And it's the difference between the 2 New York teams as well, is vibes.
Yeah.
It's the vibes in the locker room. It's the chemistry there. I mean, I hate to attribute everything to one player, but he's been that spark plug, that vibe, that locker room changer, that air of refreshment has been Matthew Schaefer. And even my friend Kenny I'm staying with. So his team has this guy that's very negative no matter what the situation is. Just an example. Very, very negative. Very just brings the mood down.
Is it JT
What
Miller?
happened? Oh, yeah, kind of like that. Not necessarily maybe JT Miller-esque with his with his lack of self-awareness when he's talking, but he just very negative. This guy doesn't show up to their game Monday night. And what happens? The captain on the team scores 4 goals. Kenny makes probably anywhere from about 5 to 7, 10 bell saves towards the end of the game to hold on for a 6-4 win. Vibes are everything. Morale is everything.
I know. I can see the vibes and the smiles coming from the man down below as he's just been enjoying every bit of this season. Anthony, I want to get one more just word out of you talking about comparison between this season and last.
I mean, I think belief. I think they've kind of been reinvigorated. Obviously, Matthew Schaefer's joyful, just attitude into the room and his presence. I also think that they're a team that feels that they're always going to be in the game because their goaltender in net is putting out a Vezina caliber season. That gives them the kind of the freedom to play loosely and know that he's going to keep him in it. In the game against Columbus, it was 2-0. They were being outshot 21-8. And he held them in the game until they found their legs and they were able to get going. And that's big. That helps out a room to know that that their goaltender is going to bail them out. And it's just they're a tight knit group. That you could tell on the bench they're having fun. They stick up for each other. It's just a team. And this comment kind of here, credit Patrick Waugh. Before training camp, Waugh's mantra was for the team to play with joy. And that was his whole thing, joy and just being loose and being a family. And I think they all bought into that. And, you're seeing the results of it right now as we head down the stretch.
Yeah, I'm still not convinced Patrick Waugh is long-term the head coach for this team, but that's a different story. Let's move on because, hey, the Islanders had did they beat Montreal in overtime?
Yes.
They got.
Yeah.
So anyway, they beat Florida in regulation at home. That's one regulation home win this month, which is more than the New York Rangers.
Somebody get me alcohol, please.
So let's just go with the Rangers last week. They were 1-0-2. They had 2 third-period comebacks, of course, overtime in 2 games, and 1 in overtime against the Pittsburgh Penguins on Saturday. Anthony, the New York Rangers in this season have 2 regulation home wins. Can you name both of them?
Pittsburgh?
No.
Philly?
Nope. Phil, can you name both of them?
San Jose.
Nope. Lost in overtime.
Yeah.
No. Oh, that's right. Yeah, that was the overtime game.
By the way, I'm doing this by memory, everybody. That's how bad this is. But at least Chris Drury's doing a great job.
They won that. They won a home and home with Detroit, right?
Yeah, but they were on the road. They were in overtime. I know in one of those games. And I think the road win, they won the home and home. And I think it was overtime on the other one.
Even saying St. Louis and Nashville?
St. Louis and Nashville is the answer, by the way. So they beat those juggernauts in those games. All right. So we got that bit out of the way because I've been talking about that all week because they haven't won in regulation at Madison Square Garden since before Thanksgiving.
Brian Leach, regulation wins at home. Brian Leach days until the trade deadline. Amazing.
Yeah, geez. I mean, again, we keep talking about this, everybody, because it seems like we're demanding accountability. I just really wish Jim Dolan would. So, but other news that came out of the Garden, we're going to discuss one quote in a second. But yes, the Garden was empty. And yeah, Chris Drury deserves every chant. And look for the video coming out next week that I have about the failure of the Rangers organization from the first letter. So why you shouldn't believe in the second one. They're not, by the way, they're not tanking. They suck. There's a difference.
Yeah, they're definitely not tanking.
On purpose. Sucks. They're terrible. They're terrible. All right, so let's get to some of the news that came out. Adam Fox is still bothered from being cut by Team USA, and the whiskey we had whiskey drinkers on the team, not and that's the reason why we're able to win from Mike Sullivan, which is great. That's exactly what you should do to alienate your best defenseman. And JT Miller, after the Columbus loss, we had a great start, drew a penalty, scored on the power play. Next thing you know, it's 3-0, and they're booing us again. Phil, with the trade deadline closing in, what's the state of the New York Rangers? And we are going to have a healthy debate about that stupid quote.
Just waiting to move players. I mean, I love the screen name.
Cheesy,
really.
Yeah, let's cheesy puss.
I mean, yeah. So I mean, I'll definitely take that. I mean, but yeah, it's just waiting to move players. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if Adam Fox is gone this summer. I don't think he's moved at this point. I just think it's too big of a move, too late. If this was something that happened earlier in the season, maybe you could look at moving him now, but he's too much. He's too big of an in-season trade. It would really, really shock me if he was moved within the next 2 days. I don't see it. I do see Vincent Trocheck being moved. I do see other pieces being moved. I think Sam Carrick is a name you might have to look out for, especially with a Michael McCarron trade. We'll talk more about that later. Again, I just think that there are multiple pieces that could be moved. Multiple pieces. Vincent Trocheck shouldn't be. Charlie Stramel is a name that's been out there. I wouldn't be too happy about that. If he's the top piece in a deal, not really liking that. If it's Minnesota, I want Yurov in that deal or nothing. Don't even bother. I would rather deal him to Detroit. He wants to stay in the East. Deal him to Detroit. Detroit's got a need for a second line center. Larkin and Trocheck were teammates on Team USA. They're familiar with them. Larkin could go vouch for Trocheck. Yeah. So I would rather go to Detroit. Not only that, but Nate Danielson, Michael Brandsegg-Nygaard. Sandin Pelech is probably off the board. Carter Bear is another one. First-round pick.
What's that?
No, there's no talk about that.
No.
That's coming from. It's not happening. There's no major trade to be made there. Right now it's just who are they unloading within these next 2 days, and that's really it. And then it's hashtag going for Gavin or nah for McKenna, like whatever you want to do. So that should be their focus from here on out.
I can't wait, by the way, till they get Kevin McKenna and put him on the fifth line. Anyway, Anthony, go right ahead. What's kind of the state of the New York Rangers right now?
I think it's in that room. It's kind of that they're just waiting to see the next shoe to drop. And I think we all know what that is. I think that's Vinny Trocheck. I know that the Rangers don't have to trade Vinny Trocheck because he's got term left. But after the letter came out if Chris Drury doesn't move him, it's a huge L that he's going to take there, because just in the sense of, you put out this letter, you make it seem like there's going to be so many changes, and then what? You just traded excuse me, you just traded Temi Panarin and Carson Soucy and think that that's this big retool or so I don't know. I mean, I think he painted himself into a corner with that letter. I'd be shocked if he didn't trade Trocheck, but if he doesn't, I think Ranger fans are going to kind of run him out of town, because after all this, after all this talk, I feel like they should move him. He's their most valuable asset. I think he needs to be moved. I think you need to get a good package for him.
Yeah, here's the only problem with that, though. If you don't deal him now, that's fine. But he has to be dealt this offseason, because you might open up more teams in the offseason than you are now, because now it's just going to be contenders that are looking to deal for him. But other teams in the offseason are going to be available. The only problem is that he's made it clear that he doesn't want to go west. So,
I said originally,
how far west is really to be determined.
I said originally when we did that trade deadline, I think you were on your lunch break and you came in and talked about it, Phil. Me and Anthony, that was the Johnny Gaudreau day. We're waiting to see if Johnny Gaudreau was going to sign with the Islanders. He ends up signing with
Columbus.
Columbus, thank you. But I said originally, looking at that trade, that's free agent signing, that the way the contract is going to work, 4 years, 4 or 5, he was going to be in New York, and then they're going to look to trade him. Here we are, end of the 4th year. He's going to either be traded or traded before the beginning of his 5th. Vinny Trocheck did win over New York fans. I don't think he's going to be a pariah. I don't think you have to worry about that. I think the person they run out of town is they still have to run out Chris Drury, but I don't know what more 18,000 shareholders could say every game to convince raise Charles Dolan up to get him to fire him, because James won't do it. So this team is so unlikable. We've been through this all year. So we're just going to debate real quick about this idiotic quote, because JT Miller comes out and yeah, he's going through the list of things. And Phil, I'm going to get your opinion first before I completely go off on how galactically stupid this is.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something else. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I'm going to wait for you, because you're going to say it's not that bad. I'll tell you why it is.
Yeah, I don't think it's as bad as you think it is. I know you're going to go off on some legendary Mark.
I don't know if it's going to be legendary. I don't know.
Rant, because he's got it. He's waiting. He didn't want JT Miller back in the first place, so we're just building up steam right now. I can't wait to watch Mark go like full cartoon mode, where his face goes bright red and the steam just comes out of his ears, because that's what we're heading for right now. But I listen. He should have never mentioned the fans. I don't think it was a good idea, but I don't think it was a shot at them. And I think as much as everybody wants it to be a shot at the fans, no. He's not worse than Trouba.
Yes, he is.
I'm sorry. You're never gonna pull that one over on me, because Trouba led a mutiny and screwed this whole thing up. This whole thing started with Trouba, and Trouba got mad because of Barclay Goodrow and the way they treated Barclay Goodrow, the way they treated a 4th liner that they overpaid. And no, you're not wrong about this. Anyone who thinks this of JT Miller is not wrong. You're not wrong. He's not captain material. I am not saying he's a good captain. I'm just saying he's not worse than a guy who basically started the destruction of this team and basically helped Chris Drury make a complete clown show of himself. So, no, I'm not going to sit there and tell you that JT Miller is worse than Jacob Trouba. This is not worse than what Jacob Trouba did. I'm sorry, it's not. But JT Miller has zero self-awareness. He's awful as a captain. I think he's better with an A. I think he's a guy that can come in and be a secondary guy when there's a good foundational piece in place that's above him that could keep him in check. He needs to be in check. But no, they're not the same at all. Not even close. I'm sorry. But again, when you lead a mutiny against a general manager and you get a team to quit on a coach that's not at fault, you are the biggest cancer since cancer itself.
And
that's
by the way,
Phil, is. I'm sorry, but that's what he is.
Phil, just to add on to what you're saying, Phil, add on, they were 6 wins away from a Stanley Cup.
Mark, before you go on your rant that I'm waiting for very much, I just want to, Phil, I don't want to speak for Matt, but maybe he's saying that, at least from my perspective, JT Miller has had so many like controller disconnect instances this year where it looked like he wasn't even trying. So maybe he's saying that Miller just doesn't try and he's the captain.
Again,
and that's really bad.
I'll take that over somebody who completely derailed the team and then subterfuged a trade. What he did was illegal. The Rangers should have filed a grievance against him. They should have. And you can't do that. You can't go, oh, I'm not going to report to a team. I don't care if your wife is pregnant. I don't. Do you know how many people have dealt with that throughout the history of this league? Thousands. Tens of thousands have dealt with that. You want to know who also dealt with that while he was on the same goddamn team? Alex Wennberg. Alex Wennberg got traded to the Rangers. And what did he have to do immediately? Go join his wife on the other side of the country because he got traded while she was pregnant. You are not special, Jacob Trouba. I hate to tell you this. No matter how fucking special you think you are not special. You're not. You're not. So that guy decided that he wanted to derail a team and sulk when he came back. You should have accepted a trade. You should have accepted the trade. JT Miller, terrible with words. Not a captain. Too many controller disconnect / lazy moments. I get it. I agree with all of that. But Miller being a captain and being a shitty captain has nothing to do with a guy that literally was the first part of why we are where we are right now. Don't forget that. Blame Chris Drury or all you want, and I agree. Chris Drury is absolutely top 3 culprits, but Jacob Trouba, he's just as much of a culprit. He started this whole damn thing. It was his words that led to that meeting at Panarin's barbecue. Just remember that. Just remember all of that. When you want to sit there and you want to point the finger and say, oh, well, JT Miller's taking a shot at the fans. You know why JT Miller is there? Because Jacob Trouba was a dog shit level captain. That's why they brought him in for leadership. That tells you how much they thought of Jacob Trouba as a captain and how bad he was at it.
Yeah. And you know what? You kind of talked me out of saying, I've been saying it all week, JT Miller is the worst captain in Rangers history. And definitely in my lifetime. You know what? Maybe I will put Jacob Trouba right back to that. Also, let's not forget that atrocious penalty kill in Game 4 versus the Florida Panthers. I will never forget that because they always say, hey, defenseman on the penalty kill, you should get above the dots on the boards. Idiot. So never mind that. Going back to this sentence. First, let's go with, we had a great start. Did you? Drew a penalty. Okay, cool. Scored on the power play. Wait a minute. You did? You scored on the power play? Because I remember that coming off the board because he doesn't mention Alexei Lafreniere's elbow hitting Elvis Merzlikins' mask. How about that one, JT? We get it. How about this? Let me rephrase this for him. We had a great start, drew a penalty, scored on the power play, goal got taken off the board, and then one mistake later, it ends up being 3-0, and we lost all the momentum we just built up. Oh, wow, that's so much a better statement than we scored on the power play, and the next thing you know, it's 3-0, and they're booing us again. because you should be booed. You deserve to be booed. You're all crap. Every one of you. What did you earn? What did you earn by the disallowed goal? You didn't earn anything. Because you know why? Because it didn't count. That's how I know this magic ability of looking up the scoreboard and seeing a 0 where the Rangers are. Then Trocheck throws it across. Zibanejad can't get it. Goes the other way, 2-on-1. And look, I'm going to say this about Igor. You know what? You need a save from him right there. Maybe it's not the place, the 2-on-1. Fine. How about the Olivier goal right after that? Make a save. But anyway, let's get back to JT. First off, don't bring the fans up ever. I understand what he's doing. He's just going, yeah, you know what? They're just booing us again. Yeah, what's up with that? That's what he was just saying. It was just a matter of fact of the way he said it. But you don't deserve the, yeah, just like you said, you don't deserve the booze?
No. Rich is saying he doesn't think he's saying that they don't deserve the booze. You're misreading that.
Okay, well, here's the thing. You're talking about momentum. Use the word momentum because that's the way you should do it. Hey, then we lost the momentum we were trying to build. We had to work it on back, fight back in the third period. I'm glad we were able to force overtime and get through this, at least get a point out of this. You know what? I want to be talking about the resiliency of this team that they showed down 4-0 to come all the way back against a team that's fighting for their playoff lives. Instead, we're talking about this stupid comment because you had to evoke the fans in there. The only way to be dumber than this is to evoke a national tragedy. Talk about this compared to, say, a hurricane or whatever you want to say. I don't want to say some national tragedies right now. I don't. So, yes, first off, yes, Sal, he's got to go. Secondly, so does the guy he brought in. He identified this guy to change the culture. He's changed it, all right. They went from crap to absolute crap. So great. Word up with that. If I hear one more time that he scored 100 points in Vancouver, I'm going to snap because I don't care. The duration of his Rangers career, he might not get to 100 points. Or he's injured. Oh, he's injured? Why is he playing?
Okay, that's another thing that needs to be addressed. Why is it that this guy was playing to go for the Olympics when he's clearly hurt and has been hurt? And not only that, but they acknowledged that he was hurt because they said that this injury is a new injury, not the one he suffered earlier on in the season.
Correct. That got him to miss some of the preseason. And again, just you don't mention the fans ever because I don't know if you were able to see at MSG that they packed that out on Monday. Are you kidding? The fans are already displeased. And don't give me the corporate didn't want to show up. The fans are already disgusted. And you're going to tell me, oh, they're booing us again. You deserve to be booed. Every one of you. Every one of you. I'll give Adam Fox a little bit of credit because you know what? He's the one that's been attacked. Or Vladislav Gavrikov, who showed up and, by the way, looked like he knows what to do in front of the net a lot more than the guy that passed the puck. That's how much this team has fallen. And I don't want to be negative. I don't want to sit here and be negative. I'd rather be talking about positives. But all they do, my God, they're like a never-ending Jenga tower that just keeps going higher and higher, and I'm still waiting for rock bottom. They refuse to ever hit rock bottom. I thought it would be from a 10-2 loss to the Bruins on national TV, but no, they still won't do it because now it's the fans' fault for booing. Yeah. Oh, no, might not be what he meant, Mark. Yes, it is. He doesn't mention the disallowed goal. He doesn't talk about anything else. And you know what? If you're going to have press conferences, have a fucking filter. Talk about things a little bit.
The guy's not good with his words. Like there's no arguing that. But again, he's not.
Then don't be a captain. Don't be a captain. You're the vessel to the fans. Because whether or not I misinterpreted or anyone else did, Phil, that was a tremendous FU. Tremendous.
I don't see it as a shot at the fans. I just don't.
Okay, well, subliminally it was. That's my take on that one.
You can believe that, but that doesn't make it absolutely true.
Okay. Well, he's had so many other great sound bites. No, gotta come back with a better mindset, I guess. I don't know. I'll try harder.
Again, this guy is the worst public speaker I've seen as captain. I'm not, literally. You could talk about, oh well, Jacob Trouba was better in interviews. Yeah, what made Jacob Trouba likable though? I don't know that. I don't understand that one because of the fact that when he was here, we were literally talking about him being an $8 million waste of cap space.
Yep.
I mean, Miller is too at this point. But at least he's worth, I don't know, maybe $5 million. Jacob Trouba wasn't even worth a quarter of that.
It's just as far as this goes with him. And you know what? If he was Mark Messier and was able to say that, and Mark Messier the first time around, because Mark Messier the second time around, who gives a rat's ass? But Mark Messier the first time around, who built up enough equity to say something like that, we'd go, this guy has done so much for fans and everything like that, blah, blah, blah. You want to attack him so much. He doesn't have that. No, he's a hired gun, come back for the second time. The wrong guy. He's the wrong guy that they addressed to be the captain of this team. And considering that he, again, I'll bring up the slapping of the stick on the net when he was with Vancouver. I can't wait for him to be in a rebuild.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not disagreeing with this, but I don't ever recall Jacob Trouba being likable. What? Because he did some things about cancer?
Or because he threw a helmet?
Cool. What, he threw a helmet? I mean,
yeah.
Again, he wasn't a friggin' curmudgeon. That's but what made him likable, though? That's what I don't understand.
And again, another thing I'll reiterate is when you've already built up this much, just
I agree. I think he's putting down the team here with this quote.
Okay. Well, I don't get that either. I don't get these putting down the team. I still get him like recalling.
Okay. Hold on. So this brings up a different thing, though. You want accountability, right? So here this guy is. He's shitting on the team, and he's not mincing words with it. He's just saying they're basically saying that they're awful. So what's the problem here?
Still a better way to say it than bring up the fans. Keep the fans' name out of your mouth.
You can't bitch about having, oh, well, we haven't had any captains that have really held the team accountable. Trouba every time literally either danced around it or, had some stupid words that he'd said, which wouldn't even make sense half the friggin' time. Like the guy literally, if you want to talk about guys who were also not great at taking any type of accountability for their own actions and their own games, well, hell, Jacob Trouba's right there. What you can't bitch about that and then bitch about JT Miller, not being terrible with words.
Keep the fans out of it. There's no reason to even bring up the booze. Why are you bringing up the booze? All you had to do was say we lost the momentum we built.
Self-accountable, though, too.
But again, stop. It's not about accountability because now he's trying to hold accountability to the fans. I don't care what. I still read that quote. And I think he's ripping on the fans. Let me go drop $200 at the Garden tomorrow.
Okay, so then don't drop the money at the Garden. I've been saying this for a long time. The only way that change is going to happen is when James Dolan's bottom line gets affected.
But again, he shouldn't have even brought up the fans. I will go back to that every single time. There is no winning when you bring up the fans unless it's something outrageously positive.
He's literally just describing what's happening.
He could have described it with the word momentum. I keep going back to that, Phil. There's no, if I said, going with that, sorry, Anthony, we're going to get, by the way, we're getting back to trade coverage in a minute, guys. But if he goes back and he says, then it's 3-0 and we lost all the momentum that we had going, that means that's something else. That's the team. That's them talking. But you're going to say then they're booing us again?
Right.
Yeah, and that tells you everything you need to know.
Well, he's having a pretty good year. I'll give Zibanejad that. It's actually carried over. And I thought with Panarin leaving, like his production would go down. It's actually kind of stayed close to where it's been. So, I mean, good for Mika Zibanejad. But, yeah, I mean, this is basically – me and Mark and I are literally the "this is fine" meme with the dog sitting at the table in the burning room. And Anthony is just like literally sitting there filing his fucking nails. That's literally what's going on right now.
Because we're going to have some positive talk for somebody that the Islanders might be acquiring in just a moment. And in our NHL bar talk. So, and again, guys, look, it's not just me. It's not just me. There's a lot of frustration.
He's gone in the offseason. Lafreniere is friggin' gone.
They've wasted
talking about him at this point.
He honestly better be. I don't understand how he can. I would, if they kept him, you're really playing with fire, really because if you keep him and then he has another year like he's having this year, his value is going to be in the toilet. You have to move him now when you can at least get something. Like I think waiting would be really, really dumb. Really dumb.
You know what? I honestly think that he has the least amount of drive I've seen from a number one overall pick to really kind of put everything together.
Agreed.
I know that people say Nail Yakupov. I'm going to go back to Alexander Daig.
Yeah, he wanted.
I mean, I know Daig had a couple of 50-point seasons before like his real drop off, but I mean, Daig's lack of interest was so apparent on the ice. Like after that second 50-point season. And you could just tell that his mind was in other places. He needs to get the hell out of New York because it's not here. Stefan, all right, here's the problem with Patrick Stefan. He should have never been picked number one overall. Should have never been picked number one overall. It was a terrible draft year. I mean, and that's the thing. He'd rather play softball than work on his game. And listen, I know, guys, you're supposed to have lives, but you are going to get all of the flack in the world when you are seen playing softball in the offseason and you show up for the second year in a row with a crappy effort after signing a deal in the previous year.
Well, here's the thing, and this is where I'll give slightly some slack to them. The Rangers in this new rebuild, first up, by the way, they still need to fire Chris Drury. I'm sorry, I went 3 breaths without saying that. But the new rebuild, maybe don't treat your prospects like the kids' table at a family gathering. And the kids walk up and go, "Hey, can I come up here?" No, go back to the table. Go back over there. We're sitting here with Colin Blackwell and Dryden Hunt because they matter so much more than the people he drafted first and second overall. The idiots, beyond idiots. I can't. I want to move on.
This is why it was a bad idea to bring back David Quinn. You had a guy that was playing Colin Blackwell over the guy that you drafted first overall the October before that season started. Why was he even allowed to come back?
He had the Boston passport card. That's what he was able. He was to go, "Hi, excuse me, restricted area, Boston. All right, welcome. Come on in."
Ottawa cleaned up in that draft, though. They to get Stützle and Sanderson there, just wow. Man,
Again,
wow.
Go back in that moment. It's not because the Rangers jumped up to reach. They took the guy everybody would take. Everybody would take him. And they'd still do it again if you go back in time.
If you want to criticize them for Schneider, you can absolutely criticize them for Schneider.
Absolutely. Anyway, guys, let's go do some NHL bar talk.
Let's kick it into high pace. Grab your mates, it's time to unlock NHL bar talk.
Layup, get the damn hoop.
We go shot here.
The easiest I've ever had to answer.
I'm actually going to go crazy. I'm going to buy everybody around.
We're all in this game, let the good times shake.
I honestly might grab a drink in a minute. That's the way I feel right now. Because everybody,
if we get a drunk Mark stream, oh man,
I don't think it's going to be a drunk Mark stream.
That was a great segment. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, and you were just able to sit there with the popcorns going. Yeah,
honestly, I used that time to get my obscurity guys in line. I just let you guys on the floor, and I just got my guys in order.
But again, it's just the situation is so bleak at the Garden, and I just can't help but say that over and over again. But guys, welcome back to our Big Apple Hockey Bar Talk. We're gauging our confidence on these NHL topics based on our choice of Drake. You're so confident that you're buying around, so I'll have a beer. I need a shot. And by the way, I think I might need a shot like right now. Thought I heard my door open for a second. Anyway, play along down in the comments below with us. And a quick plug. If you want to go out tonight, go out to Boss Kroger's Wing Wednesday, 40-cent wings, $2 tacos, chicken or beef, $4 Miller Lights of Yinglings. Who are you to resist? Anyway, let's go with this one first, because let's get back to the Islanders for a second. Let's try to find something positive. But Robert Thomas has expressed interest in joining the Islanders, as it was kind of mentioned in a couple reports. And we were talking about this, and there was somebody I know that was saying, come on, get it done, get her done. Anthony, the Islanders should trade prime assets to acquire Robert Thomas.
Mark, I am a lot of times I sit on actually, David, no, it's reported today that deal right now is off the table. Dreger said it, and then Friedman also said it on the radio this morning. He thinks that Buffalo at the end of the day just couldn't come to grips with the price. With that said, I'm going round here. I know that I had said in the past, like, this is the first year of the Islanders, retool, and they finally built up their prospect system to where in the summer they were ranked around 5th or 6th, the deepest prospect pool in the league. And I get being, not kind of just selling everything in year one. However, Robert Thomas checks all the boxes. He's 26 years old, so still pretty young. He is under contract, I think, for 3 or 4 more seasons after this year at 8.13. So he's under team control. He's a 80 plus point player. For me, yeah, yes. I'm doing whatever it takes to get Robert Thomas, especially the fact that the Islanders are one of the teams that he expressed interest in waiving for. I mean, yeah, you make that happen. You make it happen, Mathew Darche, and you go and you just take it and you laugh all the way to the bank, I guess you could say. But I don't know. I'm doing it. The Islanders have 2 first-round picks they can offer. They obviously also have their first next year too, if need be. Whatever, Aitchison, Eklund. I think any prospect for me is on the table. And even Cal Ritchie, I would consider moving Ritchie in the deal. And the reason why I say all this, especially with Ritchie, because if you get Robert Thomas, you have Horvat and Thomas as your number 1, number 2 centers going forward. Not to mention, then you have Barzal that can play the center if need be. Then on top of that, if you have Thomas and Horvat now, Ritchie as a 3C, it's more of a luxury at that point. And then you also have Danny Nelson coming, that if you're worried about your depth after that, then you can have Nelson as your 3C. You could re-sign Pajot for a 2-year deal and have him and still keep him in the fold. So yeah, you know what? I think for the Islanders, it just makes sense to do. The only negative I will say is, technically speaking, yes, the Islanders and Philka and I have talked about this for a long time. They need a pure goal scorer, a sniper, preferably a winger. Obviously, Robert Thomas is a center. He's more of a facilitator. He's not really a shooter. But at the end of the day, 80
He's points. A play driver.
So I'm doing it. This is a resounding yes for me.
Philk?
Should and will are 2 different things. So let's just make that clear right now.
Yes.
So I'm not saying they're going to. I know they're one of the teams that's being talked about, but we're going on the word should, the key word, round. And this is the type of player that they should give up those assets for. And Mathieu Darche has talked about, not, giving up pieces and mortgaging their future for rentals. This is a player with term, as Anthony's talked about. I mean, he couldn't have really broken it down any better. I don't know what else I could really add to that. But the one thing I'll say is I've talked about, like Anthony said, he and I have discussed about them needing a pure sniper for years. But Robert Thomas is also the type of number 1 two-way center that they've lacked for a while. And the Islanders have needed, and I've said this the other day in the chat, difference makers. Robert Thomas is a difference maker. 2 80-point seasons in a row, including 81 points in 70 games last year. Just think about that. I mean, that, aside from John Tavares, the last center that's really put up anything close to that, you'd have to go back to Pierre Turgeon. That's sad. And I'm saying this as a Ranger fan. So, I mean, listen, he's young, he's got term, he's got cup-winning experience. Islanders have literally one player on their roster that has any type of cup-winning experience. And it's a guy that's burned them in the playoffs, Ondrej Palat. So, to bring in a guy like that has the experience, and although Thomas wasn't a big-time playoff performer in that run, he was still a contributor for him as a 19-year-old. So he's got some experience. His last series against Winnipeg, although they lost in 7 games, he had 8 points in those 7 games. So I should, yes. Will, it's another story.
I was so on beer on this for the longest time. Then Anthony said his comments. Yeah, you guys got me. I'm going to go round. Let's make it a hat trick. And just, again, guys, this is sort of their chance. And again, I'm not in love with Kyrou as a player.
He's a goal scorer. He's a completely different player. He's a guy that scored 36 goals, 37 goals. He's a wing. He's fast. So I take him too.
I think he fits the Islanders.
Just get all St. Louis on here.
Play.
Yeah.
I don't know about his physical game is not there, but 3 30-goal seasons in a row. And the Islanders have needed goal scorers going back for the longest time. Anthony and I have talked about since John Tavares was drafted, you need a sniper to go along with him.
Yeah, because basically your 2 greatest goal-scoring threats since the late 90s was Zygmunt Palffy and John Tavares. So that's why you could use a sniper. I was going to ask Anthony about one name in a second, about maybe he should be off limits because he fits that category, and the Islanders might not want to move him. But first, going in with this, I believed in Robert Thomas. I thought he was going to take the next step. I'm actually shocked that at the beginning of the year, I'd be talking about Robert Thomas potentially being traded and going, wait, how the hell is he going to get traded? But you know what? That's what happened to St. Louis. They have hit the skid, something bad. That team needs a complete and total rebuild. And I thought that they were going to be a playoff team and potentially maybe even a top 3 team in the Central, which is murderer's row right now. But I mean, this is just shocking when it comes to them. Because Anthony, I'm not sure. Would you package Cole Yzerman in there?
I would move Cole Yzerman before I traded Victor Eklund. And Cole, hot take or not, I would trade Cole Yzerman before I trade Keyshawn Aitchison.
Wow. Okay.
You know what? I think some Islander fans are throwing Yzerman's name out there so much is because they have PTSD over Kiefer Bellows and Oliver Wahlstrom. Both those guys were in the same mold as Yzerman, where they were big time scorers who had big, heavy shots that were able to beat goalies clean from distance. Cole Yzerman's sort of the same way, just an even better shot. But so I understand that kind of they're scarred from that, but I will say Cole Yzerman I think is going to be a much better hockey player than both those two ever panned out. But I get why they make the comparison. I think it's reasons why most Islander fans are actually saying, okay, well, yeah, I would trade Cole Yzerman in the right deal.
I'd worry that Cole Yzerman's closer to Cole Caulfield than I gave him up.
Well, that's the worry. You make that move, and But I mean, listen, in this league, you gotta give to get. I mean, again, Robert. My answer would be a lot different if Robert Thomas was a rental or even only had 1 year left. I would be hesitant. But
he's actually got 6. 5 years, I think.
His age and he's under team control. It just makes you do it. You do it.
And my only concern about that is, and again, I think he fits into the Islanders' direction, but you're going to be building around Matthew Schaefer. Matthew Schaefer is only 18 years old. By the time that you build up that team, is Robert Thomas still going to be in his prime years? That's what I want to know. That would be my concern.
I think he still is. Because I'm just trying to get his age again. That he's 26 right now. So even if you want to say give it the end of this year, what's his birth date? Is it listed? July 2nd. So all right. So the start of the new year, he turns 27. So let's say 26, 27. He's not that the Islanders aren't where they need to be yet. I've been saying all along to Islander fans, enjoy your Stanley Cup the next 3 years.
But I don't see. Here's the thing. I don't think he is the piece. They're not one piece away. The Islanders.
They're not.
They're not terribly far, but they're multiple pieces away. You would need to bring in Thomas. You would need to bring in another goal scorer in your top 6. You're going to need somebody that's better than Kyle Palmieri at scoring goals. Kyle Palmieri can't be your best goal scoring winger. I'm sorry, you're not winning a cup that way. It's just not the case. Like, no disrespect to him. I think he's a very good secondary scoring option, a guy that's going to go to the dirty areas and score those goals that you're going to need come playoff time. But I just don't think he's the guy. I think they need multiple other moves. I think that they're going to need another legitimate top 4 defenseman. I think right now, if I look at their defense and I look at the depth chart, Anthony, I think you might agree with me on this. You would say Schaefer's 1, you would say Romanov's 2, and then you look at Pelech and Pulock as your 3 and 4, right?
Yeah, although I will say Pelech, we kind of touched on this. Pelech, since probably November, has really not completely reverted his game back to who he is, but he's been the Islanders' best defender by strictly talking purely defending by far. He's been very good. So
okay.
I would say he's still number 1 when it comes to tough assignments and playing against other teams' top players.
Fair. But when you look at that defense on paper, you do believe that they need another legitimate top 2-3 defenseman in there, right?
Yes. And I think they believe that Aitchison will be there. How long it's going to take him to get there, I don't know, but I think they do.
That's the issue. And that's why I have some qualms about trading for a guy like Robert Thomas. Because yes, he's the right type of guy that they need. He could give you a very good 1-2 punch with Horvat at center. But Horvat is how old? What, 30, 31?
See, probably somewhere around there. I would think.
Yeah. Sorry, they could get that one for you.
30, I would say.
So, Horvat is going to be 31 next month, at the beginning of next month. So you would have Thomas and Horvat. Okay, what are you doing with Matt Barzal? Do you believe that he's the type of guy that you can win with, or is he going to be traded for another piece? Because if he's a winger, then I would look to move him for a goal-scoring winger if possible. Because you need goal scorers. You need less playmakers on that top 6.
Yeah, I do agree with that. I think if the problem is, again, which I touched on when we first talked about, Thomas is more, again, he's more of a playmaker, more of a facilitator. They need more of a pure goal scorer. But I think and maybe I'm wrong, but I just think in Darche's eyes, he just sees Robert Thomas as as an upper echelon player, regardless if he's a playmaker or a goal scorer. He feels that he can add to, because I mean well, one more last point, I got to get to the bus stop. But one thing I will say about, I think, the interest in Robert Thomas, if you acquire Robert Thomas now, it creates a matchup. I don't want to say disaster, but it creates a matchup problem for other teams in the playoffs, because if you put your top defensive players to match up against the Horvat line, then Robert Thomas is going to come over the boards as the second line center, and he'll have better opportunities playing against lesser defensemen. So I think them having Horvat and Thomas as number one, 2 center would be good in that regard. But we'll see what transpires.
All right. See you in a few minutes, Anthony. All right. And although I do have to say, I've been kind of hearing some information lately that's, I don't want to use the word soured, but maybe devalued my opinion on Keyshawn Atchison. At the moment, like the incident that he had with the fan, or maybe there's potentially some maturity issues, but guys could also overcome that. Guys could obviously mature, it would be the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that incident. You can't go doing that. I will say that I'm not going to let that one incident define him, though.
Yeah,
I'm not going to. That's a player that that's a player that I think, with some reeling in, is going to be a very, very good player. What he's doing right now in the OHL is ridiculous. 26 goals and 63 points in 48 games. He's second on his team in scoring, and it's a big gap between Colboron and him. But yeah, I mean, this is a hell of a player.
And as I've said, that guy was tailor-made to wear a New York Islanders jersey. But if the Islanders could go off and get Robert Thomas, a center who's already put up some good numbers, won a Stanley Cup in his younger days, and is entering his late 20s, ergo the prime of his career, I mean, Phil, the Islanders might have to go do it. All right, let's look at the New York Rangers now, and one of the guys that they might be moving very shortly. You look at last night or yesterday, Michael McCarron went to Minnesota for a second-round pick. A second rounder, it seems like a little bit high for him. But Philk, if they can give up a second rounder for Michael McCarron, the Rangers should trade and get a second-round pick for Sam Carrick.
I'm going to go around here. I think that Sam Carrick is the type of player that a lot of teams want come playoff time. I think this is going to be a sneaky under-the-radar acquisition for any type of team that acquires him. He's battle-tested. He's gone deep in the playoffs with Edmonton. So yeah, I mean, if I'm making him available. No. This is not Paul Gaustad. This is not a Paul Gaustad 2012 situation where several assets are going to go in a massive deal in which a first-round pick is exchanged. But Sam Carrick could get a second-round pick. We've seen fourth liners get second-round picks. I think he's a playoff-type player. Tyler Myers just got a second and a fourth. Darren Dreger said this is a buyer's market. This is not a buyer's market at all. This is a seller's market with some of these prices, especially Michael McCarron getting a second-round pick. You know what? If that happens, great. The next time I see you, I will buy you a beer. If that happens, Brian, I will buy you a beer, and I will make it a point to see you and buy you that beer if he gets a first-round pick. So I don't think it's going to happen, but second rounder, absolutely.
Oh, fourth line center, and I always say depth players are the ones that are most talked about at the trade deadline. Depth players like depth forwards, penalty killers, and depth defensemen. Those are always the ones that are sought after at the trade deadline. I think maybe they might get the second round pick. I'm going to go beer on this one because I think they might be able to get it. I don't think they're going to do better, or maybe even. And look, it's Chris Drury, so that means probably a conditional fourth that can turn into a seventh if the player signs his name anywhere, even for a check at a coffee house, because Chris Drury has no idea how to trade anybody. And this is a guy that gave him credit for his first 3 years. But this is I'm not confident in Chris Drury's bargaining ability. So let's just move on from there. Let's go to a team that's hot right now, the Columbus Blue Jackets. 8-1-1 in their last 10 games, 3 points out of wild card 2. And if you look at those standings right there, Phil, I mean, the Boston Bruins do have a game in hand on Columbus. Oh, no, they're even Columbus. Let me correct that. And Columbus is 5 points back at the Canadiens. But Columbus is only 1 point up on the Washington Capitals right now. So, regardless, let me just say it the way it's phrased right here. Columbus should still trade their captain Boone Jenner despite their playoff push.
I'm going to go round. And the reason I say this is because Boone Jenner is in his 30s. And he is a unrestricted free agent at the end of the year. There is a chance that Columbus misses the playoffs. I don't know if I trust Merzlikins or any option they have in net, Jet Greaves, whatever the case may be. I don't trust this team. I love Werenski. I love what he's doing. I think he should be the Norris winner. He should have been it last year. He's having an even better year this year. But so many guys on their team have regressed. Sean Monahan has regressed. Dmitry Voronkov has not been the same. Kirill Marchenko's the one guy that's really kept up. Kent Johnson's been in and out of Chateau Bow Wow. Adam Fantilli has regressed after a big breakout year last year. There's not a lot of players here that have really made the difference. Dante Fabro, I thought, was a real good acquisition for them. Has not really lived up to that $4.125 million contract that he's gotten. So I don't know where this team is going right now. I don't think it's good enough. Move him. And because what contract are you giving Boone Jenner after this?
Yeah.
That's going to be the question. What are you giving him? He's your captain. I know that he has a modified no trade clause. I believe it's 8 teams. But what are you giving? What are you giving him in his next deal? He's making $375 now. He's going to want a raise for that. And he is going to be 33 at the end of this year. So,
Phil, I say, let me just gather my thoughts and repeat what I was going to say. First off, let me go round on this one. I'm gonna go with you on this. This isn't the Artemi Panarin situation in 2019, or where they bought a lot of players to try to go and go for it in the playoffs. This one, on the other hand, you look at what Boone Jenner has right now. He's averaging 16 minutes, 30 seconds per game. Kent Johnson, 13:39. You didn't draft Kent Johnson to put him on the bench. Trade Boone Jenner, because after all, you still have Coyle and Fantilli ahead of him. I understand he's your captain. Let him go, try to go win a Stanley Cup, figure out if he could go do that. Maybe he comes back, who knows? But give Ken Johnson some playing time. See what you got in the kid. Like this, I never understand organizations that do this. Because if you permanently put somebody on the bench, that person isn't going to try harder. They're just going to go, I'm never going to make it here. And when can I ask for it to leave? Like, this isn't like my high school where I got cut when I was a senior. I had to work my way back up and make the team for a playoff run. And that did happen to me. but I only had one high school. I couldn't change it. I couldn't go play somewhere else. This guy's in a union who could go, you know what? I want out. So who knows? They might even trade Ken Johnson instead. But this is a time where you gotta, when you trade a captain like Boone Jenner.
I think this is different though, because
I do think it's different.
Oranges actually, like how so the whole Trouba thing was a mutiny that was caused behind the scenes because they were not happy with the general manager and the way that he was treating players, and that understandable, but you can't go and do that. Boone Jenner is a beloved captain in Columbus, has been the captain for a very long time, has been a lifer there. He's ingratiated in the community, and he's a UFA at year's end. There's no drama behind Boone Jenner.
Yeah, and
it's just a matter of we don't know where we're going, and this whole thing we could be going from completing to a playoff spot to having to rebuild, because this is another thing that factors in. When do you trade Kent Johnson?
That's why you got to check. You got to know what you got with Kent Johnson. You can't do what the Rangers did and permanently fixate guys and leave them on, or fixate, that's not even the right word. Put them on the bench forever, and then these guys never grow. That's the thing. You got to actually plant the seed and water it. You can't just plant the seed and go, well, I hope it rains and maybe it'll grow into a tree. No, you got to do, there is work that has to go with prospects. So, I mean, he could do similar to Brock Nelson, but on the other hand, maybe it's just the time to turn the page organization-wise.
I mean, and that's a fair question to ask. I think Nelson, the Islanders knew that they were going to have to move on from him because he was also getting up there in age. And I think that's the thing. Like, yeah, you're going to need leadership in Columbus. I get it. And you can bring him back maybe on a shorter term deal because he's going to be 30. Yeah, he's going to be 33.
Yeah.
How many years does Boone Jenner have left, and how many years is Columbus willing to bring him back for? I think that's where they may hit an impasse.
But once
I don't necessarily agree that it would piss off the entire locker room. I think if you go at this in a very civil and direct but methodical manner, you can have that discussion with the room and say, hey, it's nothing against you guys. We just don't know if we're going to be able to come to terms on a good deal that fits both sides. And I don't know if there have been discussions about that. I would imagine they have been, but there's been no word about it.
Yeah.
So,
and it's also, he's sort of the tie that goes all the way back to the Tortorella days, right? It's just eventually, as an organization, you're going to have to think about it and go, what is the future here? And if you keep Boone Jenner there, you keep in his spot, what's he blocking? Now, I'm not saying he doesn't add something to the team. I'm not saying he's not a good player, because clearly I'm trying to trade him, because if I'm trying to go for a Stanley Cup, you could get a Boone Jenner, and that really helps your team.
That could get a first. I think he could get a first-round pick and a prospect at the very least.
Yeah.
And I think that helps Columbus big time.
Yeah. And hell, look what it did with Colorado last year. They had to pony up a better I was going to say a better prospect than what Winnipeg did, but Winnipeg actually theirs was who they offer the Islanders that they turned down?
What?
Winnipeg for Nelson.
I think Nelson didn't want to go to Winnipeg.
Nelson didn't want to go there, but
I think Nelson didn't want to go to Winnipeg.
Right. So that's where it's just, now it's up to the player. He gets to pick his location, and who knows? He might want to go. Well, the guy's a hell of a player. He's a hell of a player. There are 31 teams. There are 32 teams, including Columbus, that would take him on their team. But this is where economics dictate a situation, and sometimes that's just what happens.
I know the numbers don't look great this year and haven't for the last couple of years, but I tell you right now, he is a playoff type player. Like that's the guy that goes in and he'll go to the dirty areas and score big goals. And, you know, at timely, he can score a timely goal for you. He will go and he'll throw a big hit. He's a leader. He's a good leader at that. He's a very good locker room guy. You know what? You could say he's not worth a first. Okay, fine. That's what you believe. That's what you believe. But I'm telling you right now, general managers have given up more for worse players.
Yeah.
And
we're not just talking Paul Ross.
When I see a deal that involves 10 plus moving parts and it's centered around a first round pick and Paul Gaustad, that tells me that Boone Jenner can get a first round pick. When Michael McCarron is getting a second round pick, that tells me that Boone Jenner can get a first round pick.
And Boone Jenner's got a better pedigree than a lot of these depth players that are on the market. And the thing is, I'm not sure if that exactly hurts Columbus's locker room. Hell, they've already split up the locker room already by removing Dean Evison. So
because he plays the type of game that you need in the playoffs.
Yeah.
That's what he is. He's what we hope Will Cooley develops in.
Well, the type of game, not just what those numbers are.
All right, so if Will Cooley develops into a guy that scores 25 to 30 goals a year and plays that big physical game and will fight for you when you need him to fight, and he's a leader and a good locker room leader, yeah, I fucking hope Will Cooley turns into that.
And then that's what you're talking about specifically, because I just wanted to make sure I got that in.
Yeah, I'm not saying that I hope that he's just a 40-point player, because he's already hit 40 points. But this is the type of guy that teams will salivate to get for come playoff time. That's why I think they should trade him. I think what he could get in return for them will help them more than using him as their own rental, because I don't think they're going to make the playoffs despite how well they're playing. I just think that there's too much ground to make up. Just my opinion.
Phil, I'm going to channel my inner Mike Myers or Dana Carvey and go all the way back to Wayne's World and just do a little
Game
flashback for us. Where you go back and think about on December 3rd, we were talking about a team that was totally left for dead and they were going to fire their coach. And it was only a matter of time because after all, the coach is only signed for the rest of this year anyway. Then December 9th kicks in. And since December 9th, the Buffalo Sabres are the best team in the NHL. They are fourth in goals for. They're tied for second in goals against, and .813 winning percentage. That is so ridiculous. I have never seen a turnaround like this, even over the St. Louis Blues in 2019. But Phil, the Buffalo Sabres are a legit cup contender.
Did your Wayne's World flashback involve Grey Poupon and going to the year 2006 or 2007? Because that's really what I'm getting, like the vibes from here is like that. But beer, it depends on what they do in these next 2 days. If you're going to tell me that they're going to go and they're going to get some serious assets and they're going to make a deal that nobody sees coming to get like a big time player with term, or maybe they somehow circle back and call St. Louis back about Robert Thomas and get a deal done for Robert Thomas, then maybe I could buy that. But I don't know if that's the case. I don't know if I trust their goaltending. I like the pieces they have there, foundational wise, like Dahlin and Tage Thompson and so on. But where is the depth? I really wonder about, because they this group does not have a lot of playoff experience.
Yeah.
They don't. And it's not a shot at them. It's a fact. They don't have the playoff experience because a lot of these guys have not seen it here. I mean, Rasmus Dahlin having a hell of a year. Alex Tuck. I mean, there's been talk about him and, and does he stay? Ryan McLeod's had a really nice year, big time points wise year for them. Josh Doan has been a nice story. You want more from Jack Quinn, but their defense has questions. Dahlin and then Matthias Samuelsson has had a real good year for them. Bowen Byram's even got 31 points to this point. He could have a 40-point season. But Owen Power has left a lot to be desired and could be traded after this season. So you keep talking about this, Johnny Red, and all I'm going to say is new general manager bump. They won 3 games in a row before firing Kevin Adams. And then they went on the run of runs when Kevin Adams was fired. So if you're going to sit there and talk to me about Lindy Ruff, then what's the explanation for the earlier part of the year when they were doing really bad?
Yeah,
they were nowhere near this spot.
This is also Lindy Ruff having a second year with this team too. That's part of it as well. That I didn't think was going to happen.
I have everything to. I think this group got a real kick in the ass when their general manager got fired. That's really what it comes down to.
I think they felt the culture change. Now, they were on a 3-game winning streak when we did our video about that. And then they went on when they fired Adams and put in Kekalainen. And I always say this, Phil, when you're a rebuilding team, eventually you're going to have to build. You can't just be rebuilding the entire time and circling the drain or going back over everything over and over again. You know what? Maybe you call up Nashville and try to bring Ryan O'Reilly back and try to finish what we're trying to do with him the first time around when you traded him away for Tage Thompson. And maybe that's a piece that really helps. Tage Thompson exploded after December 9th. And maybe it's because he was snipped in the Olympics. I don't know what it was, but he's got 20 goals. Rasmus Dahlin's got 10 himself. I mean, 14 out of Alex Tuck, who, as you've been saying, I think that's going to be their own rental, and I think he's going to be signed anyway. 27 points just since December 9th. And
I think
Josh
it has
Bowen's
less
got 10.
to do with Lindy Ruff, though. We've seen him come in before and have coaching bumps and go to these places. I mean, really, was New Jersey was New Jersey's success because of him, or was it because Jack Hughes decided to have a 99-point year in 2023? I
think it's actually both, Phil. I think New Jersey's success was because of him, and then their failure was also because of him. Because I think
all right, so then we're talking about fence sitting.
Right. So it's not really So it's not really anything. I'm not going to sit there and just say it's just Lindy Ruff. I do think this is finally a time where the players kind of knew something was going to change. And this
so
is where
why is it okay? So why is it then that it took firing the general manager for them to get to this point? If you're gonna sit there and you're gonna praise the coach, then why did they need to fire the general manager? The players got the message because the owner got serious and stepped in and said, "Hey, you're all going to take accountability for the way that you guys have played."
Right.
That's what it comes down to.
And it's not like the JJ Peterka trade has really worked out for them that well. Josh Doan, well, again, 10 goals since December 9th. He's had a good season. And Michael Kesselring's been good, not bad. But Peterka's starting to find his groove in Utah right now. That's a guy that would always help them in scoring depth.
They were 3 games under 500 last year. They were 3 games under 500 with almost the same team. They traded Peterka away for Kesselring and Doan. Okay, it's a semi decent sized trade. It's not a massive blockbuster. It's a decent sized trade. But the problem is that you fired your general manager and then this bump happened. So what about the other X amount of games that Lindy Ruff has been in Buffalo for since they hired him before the start of last season. He had 82 games and then some, and it took a general manager being fired for this team to do this.
And I think that is a time where the GM was definitely something that was a specter hanging over the organization, if you will. Like just a ghost that needed to be exercised.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to disagree with this. I said vibes. I said the biggest difference with the Islanders and Rangers was vibes. And the vibes in Buffalo, the minute he got fired, the minute Adams got fired, changed. And you want to know why I think that is? He played hardball with Jack Eichel. He treated Jack Eichel like a piece of garbage. And I think those guys did not like that because a lot of the guys that are on this team now were also there when that happened. So,
yeah, and a lot of the guys were able to see all that. And this is
you can't do this. I'm sorry, you can't do this. You can't go around and say, oh, well, where's all the people who doubted Lindy Ruff now? And then turn around and say, oh, I'm not saying he was a great coach. No. You don't get to attribute all their success to Lindy Ruff and then turn around and say, oh, I'm not saying he's not a great coach. It's either you're saying that it's Lindy Ruff or you're saying it's not Lindy Ruff.
And let me just add on to this.
General manager.
Let me just add on to this and just say that the
Oh, please
Kevin Adams drastically going down. And once they made that trade, once they made the firing, they were 3 games into that winning streak. They fired Kevin Adams, and that sent a culture shockwave. And then it was just like, wait a minute, Sabres going to not lose a game for a month? That was a team that couldn't win a game for well over a month at times. I mean, in any way, they couldn't even get a point or whatever. Like, you think about it 5 years ago. Now it's this team ever going to lose. And the city of Buffalo deserves this. They have been through hell with this organization. So
15 years now.
Yeah, it's just, and they're starved. They've been looking for the right players. I mean, I know their nickname for Casey Middlestat when I was up there and I saw a game, and it wasn't that flattering. But I mean, there were so many of those players. You're like, oh, it's
you can't turn around and have a look at me now moment for Lindy Ruff, and then say that you're not saying it's all him.
But also, by the way, but also age doesn't have something to do with some coaches, because after all, we would say the same thing about Rick Bowness, who's now on God knows how many organization he's been on as either.
But Bowness has gotten further than so. Ruff has been to 1 Stanley Cup final.
And so
been to 1 Stanley Cup final, and that was on the back of the greatest goaltender of all time, just right in his peak years.
Yeah,
right in his peak years. But like, what has Ruff done since?
2 more conference finals.
That's it.
Let's see. Did he get there with Dallas? I think he got there with Dallas too. So he's done it with different teams. It's just Ruff. I think Ruff's a good coach, but also he's got to be in the right situation. And I don't think this is all Lindy Ruff. I think this is a change that you felt from the players. They finally just went, "Hey, this is it. We're
vibes,
good.
Man. It's vibes. It's vibes. It's like, okay, how? Because if this team was that good at the start of the year, I would say, okay, maybe it's taken some time for them to adjust to Lindy Ruff. If you want to talk about me not listening to you, I don't think you're listening to me, Johnny. I'm sorry.
Well,
but the issue I have here is that they started playing this way when the general manager got fired. It's not a coincidence. It literally 3 games before he got fired, and they must have had this firing as something that they were talking about in the organization for at least maybe a week or 2, because 3 games in, they win 3 games, and then they fire him, and then they go off like this, and they're the best team in the league since he got fired. So 82 games is more than enough time to adjust to his system. If that's the case, and if it's Lindy Ruff, that is the reason, that is the main reason, not the whole reason, but the main reason. He's public enemy, or he's public winner number one, let's just say in this case. He's the one guy. He's at the top of the list of the reasons. Not the only one, but the top of the list. Then why did they start off as badly as they did? Why? You're going to have to give me a legitimate answer for me to reconsider my stance. Because I haven't seen anything that supports anything otherwise now. Because right now, you're looking at a team that since December 9th has been the best team in the NHL. And that's when they fired their general manager.
And Phil, would you say it's a little bit of ding dong, the witch is dead, if you will?
What's that?
Ding dong, the witch is dead?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'll tell you right now, if this team fired Chris Drury and they got rid of him and they moved JT Miller, I think you would see a bump.
Of course,
I think you would see a bump.
Yeah. Of course, you see a bump. But hey, Phil, let's go to another team that's a little bit out of it right now. Let's go to the St. Louis Blues. They're 3-6-1 in their last 10 games. They're 14 points out of wild card 2. Phil, I thought this team was going to take off, as I said just about maybe 10 minutes ago, that they were going to be a Stanley Cup contender, maybe even whatever. You love the, speaking of vibes, you love the vibes they had last year. It felt like all that positive vibes went out with Cole Perfetti scoring that goal to tie the game in Game 7. But they do have a goalie who's got a Stanley Cup and who's made some big saves. There's another team that could use that. And the St. Louis Blues should trade Jordan Binnington to the Edmonton Oilers.
I would say round for Edmonton. I would look to move, if you're going to go and you're going to move Robert Thomas and Jordan Kyrou, you are basically committing to going scorched earth. Just move Jordan Binnington. You have Joel Hofer there. And Joel Hofer showed some signs where he was going to be the guy. And then I don't know what happened to him this year. You could say the same thing about the entire team. The vibes there are terrible. They need to rebuild. They need to absolutely rebuild. Yeah, and I agree with you. I thought Jim Montgomery was one of the best coaches in the league. I thought what he did with St. Louis last year was absolutely remarkable. Their turnaround from the Four Nations tournament and on was unbelievable, what he did with that team. And yeah, you know what? Connor Hellebuck had a hell of a Game 7 and bounced them out of the playoffs, and that sucks. And that seemed like that killed their vibes because they came into this year just, it looks like they're moping. Robert Thomas has missed time. Pavel Buchnevich has been a shell of himself. Dylan Holloway, after having a great year last year, has regressed big time. And that's another thing. Like, you cannot have a regression like the one that Dylan Holloway has had from last year to this year. That's going to hurt any team. That getting that from a top 6 forward is absolutely going to hurt. So for me, yeah, this is a round. I think Edmonton's the perfect fit for a guy like him. They need a guy that can come in and be that big save guy. You know who I think of when I think of Jordan Binnington? I think of a name in the past.
Grant Fuhr?
No. Billy Smith.
Okay.
Why do I think of Billy Smith? Because this guy can give you the worst efforts during the regular season, but when it comes big game time, this guy makes saves. And he made some quality saves in that gold medal game that not a lot of people are going to talk about because Connor Hellebuck made the save of a lifetime with that stick save on Devon Taves and it helped win the U.S. the gold medal. But if they would have won that game, Jordan Binnington would have been the player of that game for Canada because that guy, when tested, what?
But Phil, that game doesn't count because it was 1 and 3 on 3.
Oh, well, we had to get that shot at John Cooper in, I guess.
I'll get that shot at everybody that makes that comment.
Yeah, no, listen, No, Montgomery is not a bad coach. There's just a lot of things that have happened that the vibes have fallen apart on that team, and they need to go in a different direction. But they need a guy that can make a save in the playoffs, and Jordan Binnington is that guy. It wasn't Stuart Skinner, it wasn't Mike Smith. It's sure as hell not Tristan Jarry, who the Islanders know about Tristan Jarry and the way that he plays, especially giving up goals to guys like Josh Bailey. We're going to talk about that
the
goal.
game-winning assist to Josh Bailey.
Woof
Yeah.
on that one. So, yeah, I don't want anything to do with their goaltending situation. But if you gave me Jordan Binnington on the Edmonton Oilers, you might just have a team that's able to get it done this year, because if they don't have to deal with Florida, they're kryptonites out of the playoffs. Everybody else, Connor McDavid can handle. But who in the East is going to step up and stop the Oilers if they get that goaltending situation figured out?
And as Tristan Jarry saying, it's about what's happening in front of him. That's the problem. I still have questions about that one. But, Phil, it was a little bit late, but here you go.
Buzz your girlfriend. Woof.
Anyway. But you also got to look, if you could get Binnington to just make that save, whatever it is, to keep it close, then you know what? If he's the goalie that could do it, I know he's signed for a few more years, you go get him. And look, St. Louis is going to start and tearing this thing down. There's Binnington signed for 2 more years. Jarry signed for 3 more years. Tristan Jarry to St. Louis. Move out Binnington. There's about a $6 million. It's a $6 million contract at 5.4. So, or 5.73, just to be precise. So it's about a $600,000 difference. Go do it, get it done. And you got still a 2nd round pick, maybe a 3rd round pick, whatever it takes just to swap these goalies out. And maybe I don't think Edmonton can eat any more salary. That's just not going to happen. But that would be a guy that would interest me if I'm Stan Bowman in Edmonton. I just, you can't get it done with Jarry. You already made that move. Yes, everybody's right. You already made that move. Got to do it again because you did it early enough in the season where you make the move. It didn't work. Do it again. That simple. Also, Phil, lastly, Elias Pettersson, his name has been all over reports about being moved, potentially Carolina Hurricanes, one of the teams that's around there. So asking you this, if traded, Elias Pettersson would have the biggest impact of any center if he was
moved. Yeah. Wow.
By the way, Phil, that was an allow myself to introduce myself moment for me right there.
Wow. All right. Good. Whatever. But I'm going to say Beer here. I worry about him come playoff time. I know he had that great run a few years back where we all thought that he was going to be like this big time playoff performer. I think he had like a point per game playoff run. But the issue I have with a player like him is we have not seen that player since. He has 2 playoff postseasons, 18 points in 17 games in 2020 with the bubble. And then in 13 games in 24, he had 6 points. So less than a point every other game. I don't know which Pettersson you're going to get with Elias Pettersson. You're going to get that one, or you're going to get the one from a few years back. Is a change of scenery and a change of vibes going to help this guy? Because we all thought that, once JT Miller is gone, here's going to be Elias Pettersson. Here's going to be that $11.6 million player that we had. I did the numbers on this. I think like a week or so ago. I'd have to find the post. But he has been scoring at about a 56-point pace since the minute he signed that deal. Like, that guy has checked out. So I don't know if it's Vancouver or if it's he's just gotten his money and he no longer cares. But I don't know if he's going to have that impact. So I'm only going to say Beer just because I do think that if he goes to a place where he's not the guy, he could have that impact. But where is he going to go? Is it Detroit? Because if it goes to Detroit, are you going to ask him to be the number one center ahead of Dylan Larkin offensively? Because Dylan Larkin's your better two-way guy, for sure. But, again, what Pettersson are you getting and where is he going?
That's a great question, Phil. That's what, you know what? I can only go Beer on this one as well. He's got the potential to be the guy that's the biggest game changer as a center. It's just, can they get the guy that was in 2020, not the guy that was in basically since he signed that extension? It's funny, Phil. We talk about this all the time, fans and guys that are off the ice, that you go, well, he signed that extension and he's just checked out or whatever. You can't get away from that. It doesn't make any sense why you got paid. So I guess that hunger is gone. Maybe that's it. But it never makes any sense why a professional athlete wouldn't still perform as well as he did before he got his money. And then once he gets his money, he goes, all right, that's it. I mean, I think about some of the guys going back to a different sport. Carlos Beltran, his first year with the Mets, was not anywhere near close on his Hall of Fame career. And then the next year he comes back and boom, he's dominant. And, you know, I think it's just chance that stuff like that happens. I don't want to blame guys when it's just a coincidence, but this is perplexing. And I think it might just be the situation between him and JT Miller got so toxic that even after Miller's gone, it got toxic around Vancouver. Because let's face it, if you're Elias Pettersson, you live in Vancouver, going out for a morning cup of coffee, you're going to hear about how crap of a game you just had lately. So maybe he goes somewhere like a Carolina around Finns or I think they got some Swedes on that roster. There's a lot of Finns, but maybe that gets his mojo going again. And then maybe he could just go out and not have to worry about anything and be more relaxed. I don't know what it'll be like. This guy's got way too much talent to be this bad and to be so fragile, so soft. I mean, it might take a trade to get him to wisen up, to mature, to actually maybe it's not applying himself. Maybe it is. Maybe he has to apply himself, but maybe it's just it's time. You have to have a change of scenery. And it sucks because I think Vancouver had him as a franchise center. The Rangers were trying to get him, certainly at that time. They settled for Elias Anderson. What a great job that was. But it's just, this is
don't remind me,
like the curious case of Elias Pettersson. Like, whatever happened to this guy? Don't know. But yeah, they don't hate to lose. That's one of the great quotes, I think, all time. They don't hate to lose. But then again, I know a lot of guys, they hate to lose, and it also prevents them from winning because they just they can't deal with it. They can't react. They're too hyped up. I've seen guys like that all the time, or guys that they don't want to do what it takes to win. And sometimes it just happens. Just like that. All right, guys, that's the end of Big Apple Hockey's Bar Talk. We gauge our confidence on our NHL topics based on our choice of drink. And there's still a lot more to discuss. Anthony should be coming back any moment. Whoa, how about that for good timing, Mr. LaRock?
Timing.
It's done.
Yeah, I was actually just saying your name right when you clicked on in. So we're going to do some Big Apple Hockey pick'ems, and then it's time for us to have some fun, guys.
I've got a gut feeling.
You want me to do two things?
Yeah, Well, that's just like your opinion, man.
Now shoot!
And welcome back to Big Apple Hockey's Pick'ems, where we're going to give you a couple choices. You're going to have to select which one to go with. So in our Pick'em segment, Anthony, welcome on back. And who will fetch a bigger return, Vinny Trocheck or Ryan O'Reilly?
Surprised you put this in here because from all reports, it seems like Ryan O'Reilly doesn't want to move. He actually doesn't have a trade. He doesn't have trade protection, but the Predators are respecting a veteran like him so much that they're treating it like he does. And if he did decide to move, they would ask him where. But from all reports, he doesn't want to move, and he wants to stay. So I don't think he's going to be traded. So default, I'm going Vinny Trocheck.
All right, Phil.
I'm going to go Trocheck because he's younger. From what I've heard, O'Reilly doesn't want to go back to Canada. So I think that takes off quite a few teams. Although Ottawa or Toronto really wouldn't be in on it. Maybe Montreal could bring in a veteran two-way center, in their bottom six, really to kind of help out, or middle six to help out. Winnipeg's kind of out of it right now. They don't make sense. Vancouver's obviously way out of it. They're not buying anybody. They're selling. So, yeah, I think O'Reilly is probably not going to get – maybe not get dealt. Then again, you never know. A team could come calling, and, maybe it could be Dallas. I think O'Reilly likes being in a southern area where the climate is nice and the taxes are low. And if there's another place that you could go, Dallas would be a nice alternative to Nashville. So, I got to say that Vincent Trocheck is probably going to get a better return. There is a very good chance that O'Reilly doesn't get dealt.
Vinny Trocheck is younger. Yes, we can all acknowledge there's a chance that Riley doesn't get dealt. Who knows what happens between now and the trade deadline. His $4.5 million AAV is really attractive. So he's going to have lots of suitors trying to call up for that. Now the question is, can they sway his opinion? That's interesting. In this particular case, again, I think it would be Trocheck no matter what, even though Riley's the one with the Conn Smythe, with the Selke. But he is 35. He is up there. I mean, he's still does great work in commercials, whether it's Car Shield or whether or not it's Mass Mutual. But this is, I'd still say it's Trocheck because he's got so much term on that deal, and his I think it's 5.75 is a lot less. So you would go with that. Who would be a better trade target, Phil? Evander Kane or Connor Garland?
I mean, here's the thing. Garland is the more productive player, I guess, over time. But he's not having a great year either. I mean, neither. Their numbers are actually kind of very close. But Evander Kane is a bigger body that has more playoff experience and has it at a deeper level. So for me, he's also a free agent. I gotta go Kane. I know it sounds crazy because he's not having the greatest year, but he had a nice year. I mean, he didn't play in 24-25. But he had a good year in 23-24. I think the numbers would be better on a better Vancouver team. You could say that for Garland as well, obviously, as their teammates. But I just think that Kane plays a bigger rough and tumble style. Even though Garland plays a pesky one, I think Kane plays a pretty rough and tumble style that a lot of teams look for. So I'm going to go with Kane just because I think that Garland is also somebody that you're going to target only if you want a player return. Like, and I think that, I mean, I know that there's been talks about him, but I wonder how many teams look at that contract extension and they get turned off by it because of the lack of production. So I would rather, I think I'd rather take the chance on the unrestricted free agent than the guy that has term but has a deal that may not age well.
Anthony, which one do you think?
So are we factoring in like the actual contract
We do factor in the contract.
Yeah, that's why I mentioned Kane being unrestricted
Because
agent and then Garland having a deal that might not age well.
Because just at face value, I think Connor Garland is the much better player. I mean, there's a reason why Evander Kane, they're saying, the Canucks need to attach an asset to move him because he's not really desired. Like Connor Garland's the better player. He's younger, he's faster. But if you're going to obviously factor in contractual status, I'm going to go Kane, and that's only because I don't like Connor Garland, his 6 year, $6 million contract kicking in next season. And that's why I'm kind of glad that it seems like the reports yesterday of Garland and the Islanders was kind of overblown. And I think Rosner made much more of it than what it really was, it turns out. But I personally wouldn't want him. That said, he did have 50 points last year. I think he's good for a team that has like a lot of primary scoring, and they need more of that secondary scoring, a middle six forward. I think he'd fit well because he's actually a very good skater and he does have scoring ability. But his contract, I'm not a huge fan of. So because of that, I'll go Kane. But again, at face value, Garland's the better player.
I don't know what I'm less of a fan of, Connor Garland's contract or Evander Kane being in my locker room. That's a tricky one for me. Because I do think you're going to get the best out of Evander Kane for the limited time that you're going to have him. So maybe that's not so much of a problem. But I love the player Connor Garland, but I don't like that contract whatsoever. This really is a tough pick 'em for me. I am barely going to go with Kane because I believe he's only signed till the end of this year, right?
Yeah, he's an unrestricted free agent at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Garland, again, and I'll again, if it's the contract for me that I don't like. I don't like that extension at all. I don't think it's good. I don't think it's going to age well. He's a player that has missed time before. He's a player of smaller stature. They list him at 5'10". I think that's being generous. I think he's smaller than that. You have him playing the game that he plays at $6 million a year for the next 6 seasons.
Yeah.
Like, I remember when Ryan Callahan was talked about as a guy that next contract wasn't going to age well, and that's why the Rangers traded him in that dumb trade. Well, that was too much to give up for Marty St. Louis, but you see what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
It's a guy that's small, that plays a physical game. I don't think that's going to age well. I don't know if he makes it through the rest of that contract. I really don't.
Also, by the way, that trade did not work out well for the Rangers in year 2. But Anthony, before you had to run off, before we talked about a potential shocking trade of Robert Thomas going to the New York Islanders. But which team would shock you more by trading for Robert Thomas, Boston or Seattle?
Well, Seattle apparently offered Artemi Panarin a lot of money. So they clearly want a big name addition. So in that sense, I wouldn't be shocked at that. I think that's Seattle looking for a really, really good player. But then again, Boston, they could certainly use help at center ice. Robert Thomas would fit them perfectly. I think for them it makes a lot of sense. But I'm still going to say Seattle, even though they went hard at Artemi Panarin, just because, I don't really think Seattle has, not that they're barren of assets. They got Berkeley Cotton. They got some good players, but I don't know for them. They're not as deep as a team like Detroit prospect wise, Montreal, Utah, or even the Islanders. So I don't see it happening. So I would say Seattle would shock me more, even though they did go big game hunting with Panarin.
This one I'm really, really torn on because I do agree with you. Like it would still shock me if they got Robert Thomas because I don't know what assets they have really to give up outside of Berkeley Catton that could get the deal done. I don't think you're sending back Matty Beniers the other way, and I don't think Matty Beniers has the value that he should have right now, especially with the way that he's kind of regressed since his Calder-winning season. But Boston would shock me big time. It makes a lot of sense for Boston because they have to get somebody in there like sooner or later to help out David Pastrnak. It really would shock me though if they gave up something like James Higgins and a first round pick to get somebody like Robert Thomas to help keep that window open for Pasta. Because you got to remember Pasta's getting up there in age. Like he's not on the other side of 30. But he's not terribly far off. So he's going to be 30 in 2 months. At the end of May, he'll turn 30. So you're going to have to make a move sooner than later to start building this team up. So I don't know if it's Higgins that really can step in within the next couple of years and become that number one center sooner than later, or do they go and make a big move for a guy like this? That's I would imagine their internal discussion if it would come down to something like this. I don't know if they're in on it, but they are a team that needs a center. So I'm going to go Boston.
I'm going to go Seattle. And not that I don't think Boston would not surprise me because I think Boston would come out of nowhere to make sure they do this. Seattle needs to start trying to find players and trying to actually build this thing up. I'm at a loss with what their thinking is up there. But I mean, now that they've actually been kind of winning, and hey, credit to what Lane Lambert's been able to do with this team over the last 2 months, I think it is now.
No, they're just an interesting rumor update regarding that whole Sabres Blues thing. So Elliot Friedman on the FAN Hockey Show today said that I've got to think that if Robert Thomas is included, that Josh Norris would have to be in it. If Colton Parayko was included, a D had to be in it. So we're looking at something like Colton Parayko and Josh Norris plus for Robert Thomas. Is that what we're
wait? How's Colton Parayko and Robert Thomas on different sides of the trade?
That Josh Norris would be going the other way. Plus, I guess. I mean, yeah. I wonder what the other assets were that they were looking for then.
I don't know about that. If you're telling me Josh Norris, then like, what's the question? Because Josh Norris just no that
hasn't been the same since his shoulder surgery.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm trying to wrap my head around that one. But one more for us guys, and Phil, who would fetch a bigger return? Rasmus Ristolainen or Oliver Ekman-Larsson?
Ekman-Larsson's older. He has more term left on his deal. Ristolainen is regarded as a little more of a puck mover. I think teams might pay a little more for the championship winning pedigree, though, over Ekman-Larsson. And I know he wasn't like a big time guy for Florida. Wasn't really like a big role there. But I do think that there are teams that might value that a lot more than Ristolainen, who's never really gone deep in the playoffs, who doesn't really have that experience. I mean, if you look at his numbers playoff-wise, Ristolainen, How much playoff experience is he? He actually does not have any playoff experience whatsoever. He's never played in the playoffs. That's crazy to think about. That's insane to think about. He's played 542 games in the NHL and has never played in a playoff game. So I mean, I know that there are people who like Ristolainen more just because he's younger, but Ekman Larsson's got a Stanley Cup.
Anthony, think it's the same thing?
It's Ekman Larsson, I think. I know he's older, but he's got 35 points. Rasmus Ristolainen has six points. I mean, for a guy that gets paid, I don't know. For me, I think OEL is worth more than Ristolainen, which Kevin Kurz, who briefly covered the Islanders Athletic Cup of Tea, has been with the Flyers now for a couple seasons. He's saying that the Flyers are asking for a first-round pick and such for Ristolainen. So I wouldn't pay that for a guy like him. But I think it's OEL.
It's OEL. It's definitely OEL. OEL's got a bigger track record. OEL helped out the Panthers, as you said, win a Stanley Cup. And the other thing is, a lot of scouts probably watched the Olympics and went, who's this kid, Rasmus Ristolainen, playing on Finland? And then they're like, wait a minute. Oh, wait.
It's not a trade, but it pertains to eventual one. Chris Johnson saying, hearing that Bobby McMahon and Scott Lawton will be scratched for tonight's Leafs game in New Jersey.
There you go.
So did he say roster management?
It doesn't say roster management, but I'm obviously read the tea leaves. I mean, both these guys have been in the rumor mill, and they're both scratched. So I would say, yeah. Darren Dreger retweeted it saying OEL also being held out. So it looks like the Leafs are preparing to move on from all three of those.
Yeah.
Wonder what the return will be on that.
Again, I think a lot of scouts were watching the Olympics and going, who's this kid Rasmus Ristolainen? Because I haven't seen him in the NHL. Oh, wait, he's that same one that's in the NHL?
I am curious to see what Scott Lawton goes for. Because correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't the Leafs give up a first-round pick to get Lawton?
I cannot correct you.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they did.
So, that was that only a year ago? Was it last year?
It was like a year and change ago. I think it was. Was it? Hold on.
I feel like
it was a year ago.
Yeah. So
it was March 7th, 2025.
I have a feeling this is going to be bad asset management. And listen, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think they're getting the first for him again. I don't. I think they're going to lose out on that.
Yeah, they're going. I mean, all right. So he was traded by the Flyers with a 4th-round pick in 2025 and a 6th-round pick in 2027 to Toronto for a 1st-round pick in 2027 and Nikita Gorbenkin.
I mean, at least it wasn't as bad as the Brendan Carlo trade.
You know what? I had high hopes for them because I thought they needed a guy like Carlo, but man, Carlo has not been the same. I think some of those hits that had, especially from Tom Wilson, really kind of messed him up. And what's worse is Fraser Minton looks to be like a key piece for Boston going forward.
Yep. It's one of those things where it's unbelievable. And again, everybody, we're going to be starting our coverage at 10:30 on Friday. And I'll be grabbing the coffee because I'll be running on 5.5 hours of sleep myself. And we're going to be starting to talk up a whole bunch of like trades that are going to be in the works. Guests coming on, but it's going to start with the original Hockey Triforce.
This guys, that was episode of Big Apple Hockey is sponsored by Ghost Energy.
All right, so that's the end of our Big Apple Hockey Pickup segment, guys. Like I said, we got a lot we're going to be covering when it comes to this week, but let's do some puck Doku. And who feels like going first?
I'll go
first.
All right.
Or you want to go first? All right.
You probably want to redeem yourself for last week. You can go first if you want.
All right. All right.
He's actually at an advantage because then Mark, we can't use the players he uses. So
yeah, I think I'm gonna get boned because I see one of the categories and it already hurts me.
Oh, but yeah, you don't like those junior categories. So
yeah, those don't well for me.
Godspeed, Mark Williams.
Yeah.
right.
So here we go, everybody. We got let's get
I'll start with Rangers and Islanders. And I know that this is probably going to hurt Mark because this is probably one of the guys he's thinking of.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Rangers.
Before we do this, everybody listening, it's Blackhawks, Sharks, and Rangers up top. Your Y-axis, the New York Islanders, Montreal Canadiens, and the WHL, the Western Hockey League. Go ahead, Phil.
So Rangers, Islanders, I'm going to go with Troy Loney.
Of course you would. The first guy to ever play for both teams in the same season.
For Rangers, Montreal, go Marty Rucinski.
Marty Rucinski, 1%er.
And then the WHL one, this is going to be a very, very obscure one because he's only played one game in the NHL and it was with the Rangers, and it was Lane Ulmer.
How do I spell it?
The first name is Layne.
Oh, that's it.
Last name is UL.
There you go.
Yeah,
1%.
So he was an Ottawa draft pick in '99, and then the Rangers got him. And I remember he had 2 overage years in WHL, and the last year he had like 64 goals, was led to WHL, and Rangers fans flipped out over it, thinking that we got something good, but he ended up being nothing. San Jose and WHL. Give me Kelly Kissio, Mark.
Kelly Kissio, you got it?
Yeah.
All right.
Fuck.
1%er.
San Jose and Montreal, Scott Thornton.
.8.
San Jose and Islanders. Brian Mullen.
Brian Mullen.
Yeah.
There we go. .8.
Former Ranger for Islanders in Chicago, former Ranger Mark Janssens for that top left one.
There it is, the 2 S's. There we go.
Give me Claude Lemieux's little brother Jocelyn here.
Jocelyn Lemieux right there. Got it. .6.
And then Troy Brouwer for this one.
It was right there anyway. Troy Brouwer. All right, Phil, getting a uniqueness score of 2. All right, and there's a look at your guys. All right. And so we should have a random number generator to start, but Anthony, go right ahead.
All right. I'll start at the top row, Islanders, Blackhawks. Give me Gary Nyland.
Nyland, got it. 0.5.
Islanders, Sharks. I'll go Jeff Norton or Andy Sutton. I'll do Andy Sutton.
Andy Sutton.
That's a good one.
He's got a 1%, but he still falls underneath 1%.
Wow.
Rangers, Islanders, Mike Motto.
That's a good one. I would have said Dan Lockerture would have been another one too.
Canadians Blackhawks. Let's do the good old Daily Didick.
Daily Didick. 0.4. Still to 0.
Sharks and Canadians. Brandon Davidson.
Wow. Okay.
Brandon Davidson, 0.5. I'm not even sure Brandon Davidson would put him in there.
Yeah, I remember when Gar Snow traded for him at the trade deadline in 2014 or 2015. 2016. I don't know, one of those years. Canadians, Rangers. How about Vladimir Malakov?
Vladimir Malakov is a good one. 1%er.
Anthony's trying to do it with all Islanders defensemen too.
Yeah.
All right, this one's gonna be hard because some of them, guys I know played WHL. Not as bad as you, Mark, but
Kelly Ocasio.
Blackhawks WHL. Try I think Brent Sopel's from Western Canada, so I'll take my chances with Brent Sopel. Oh, my daughter's tutor's here.
No problem.
Sopel, let's see what it does. Incorrect.
Wait.
Yep.
What team was that?
That was Blackhawks.
Blackhawks Rats. I got to do this all over again for Anthony. Sorry, guys.
Jeez. Mark, come on.
Oh, sorry. I heard the wrong one.
What's up, buddy? What's going on, Jay? Yeah, I know up in Long Island, everybody's been talking about the snow and the 2 feet that you guys got, what, last week or the week before?
Yeah, but the thing is, Phil, gets mostly melted now because we've had a rainstorm and we've had like some good luck.
Oh yeah, it's like 46 there today. That's actually springtime weather for you guys practically. But although
by the way, Anthony's a unique to score of 1 because I screwed up that one thing.
Just start it over, Mark.
I'm doing it, but Phil, because I had Andy Sutton in there, it pushed him over. So it's still a unique score of 1. Was it Brandon Davidson? What the hell is this guy's name?
Yeah, it was Brandon Davidson.
It was Brandon Davidson.
Nyland, Sutton, and Motto, Didick, Brandon Davidson, and Vladimir Malakov.
All right. So this is the reason why he's now at a 3. Because he was at 2 originally.
Because Mark screwed up and put Brent Sopel in San Jose instead of Chicago.
Oh yeah. So Anthony, don't worry, we got it fixed. However, I gotta take a unique to score off for one of yours because it should be a 2, not a 3. Because I had to re-enter it. That pushed.
All right. Oh, Sopel. What is Sopel? A 1?
A 1, yeah.
Okay, so it's a 2. All right.
Sharks WHL. Trying to think. Brad Lukowich.
Again,
I know he's
Brad Lukowich. Here we go. 0.5, Anthony, and now you just got.
Wow. Okay.
Right. I'm gonna try to keep with my theme here, but I don't know. Sorry, Eric Cairns. I don't think was WHL. Joel Bouchard.
I believe he was OHL.
Joel Bouchard definitely was not. Brian Berard definitely not. You know what? How about Jason Strudwick?
Jason Strudwick. Got it. You got to a unique to score at 3 though, because Strudwick is a 1%.
Okay. So yeah, all right. So it's a
Phil, you were a 2. Anthony, you're a 3. And I'll see how fast I could go with this or before I blow it. First off, Rangers Islanders. We are going Joel Bouchard, by the way. He's a .6er for the Islanders, and Sharks, Craig Janney. That's a 1%er, really.
Yep.
I gotta go back on that one.
I think people remember him because of the trade from St. Louis to San Jose because of the whole thing with Shanahan and the affair.
But the Islanders, though, I mean, he was an Islander for a very small amount of time.
Very small amount of time.
Yeah, I'm already kind of boned. Western Canadian guys, I do know this one. Nigel Dawes.
Yep, that's a good one.
I'm gonna go for broke and just see a Pat Falloon if anybody remembers. There, I'm already over. I gotta go with this guy because it's
Falloon was their very first draft pick. They're of course
exactly, but I don't know many other ones. Brent Sutter was one.
Doty Wood would have been another one that I would have used for San Jose.
Yeah. For this one, I'll go Carol Vadnais, see if I could get low. That's 0.4. Montreal, and I think this is Dale Weiss, right?
No. Yeah, no. Brian Hayward is someone you could have used there, but I think that might have been a little higher.
You buffed it, Mark.
Yeah. No, but that was the point. I was trying to look. Once I was at 11, there was nothing I could do.
Pyramid?
Tebow. Jocelyn Tebow. 3%er.
What do we got for the period? The pyramid.
The pyramid. Let's do that one. All right. So we got anybody from the American Hockey League. I'll start this one off with one of my favorite guys to always say.
Ken Jernander. I knew you were going with Jernander.
All right. Somebody that played in the American Hockey League and the Philadelphia Flyers.
Freddie Meyer.
Freddie Meyer. Let's go with that one.
Did he play? Hold on. Did Freddie Meyer play for Tampa?
Yeah. No, sorry. He played for the Thrashers, Islanders, and Flyers. I don't think he maybe, but
no, he didn't play for Tampa. Sorry. I
Okay.
thought I remember him playing for Tampa. Sorry.
All right. So Freddie Meyer, we're going in that one. Somebody played for the Flyers, the AHL, and 50 goals scored in their entire career. One guy that I was going to remember or say was, did Dale Weiss score 50 goals in his career?
Yeah, I believe so.
I would think,
55. I double checked it, boys.
All right.
So we'll go Dale Weiss.
Yeah, Dale Weiss never played for Tampa.
I got one. You could use my favorite Constant Crossman as long as he played in the AHL. Just look it up.
I don't think he did. I really don't think Crossman played in the AHL because there was never really a time that he spent after he came up down in the
he played with the New Brunswick Hawks.
Wow, really?
And the New Haven Nighthawks. So
wow, okay, I was wrong.
Just to use our Constant Crossman right there.
Yeah,
did he also play for the Flyers, Anthony?
Yes, he played for the Flyers.
Yeah, he played for the Flyers.
Oh, sorry, the Flyers. Yes, that's the one. It's obvious, but okay, we need all those in a Stanley Cup winner, guys.
Oof.
Braden Coburn never won a Stanley Cup, right?
Did with Tampa, but did he play in the AHL?
I think he did. I think he played in the AHL affiliate of Atlantis.
Atlanta, yeah. I think he fits this.
But did he score 50 goals?
In his career?
49.
You know
no,
what?
He doesn't fit it.
49.
Everything else but that.
49.
49.
Oh, good thought, Phil. I mean, that was close. As close as it gets. 49.
Shit.
There's a Flyer that's on there. We know this. Simone Gagne ever won a Stanley Cup?
Simone Gagne has, I think, one with LA.
And he definitely
I think he actually might have two with LA.
But the thing, did he play in the AHL?
Yeah, I don't think he did because he came up pretty quick.
Keep in mind,
Philly,
guys that could go and play in the AHL in a conditional stint.
No,
he never played in the AHL though.
No.
Yeah.
He never played in the AHL. He went straight from junior to Philly.
I have Mark. Can you X out of that for a second? I just want to see the top.
Penguins.
All right, yeah, I thought so. So I have one, but I think we might have to save him for the top. Ruslan Fedotenko.
Yes,
good one. Yeah.
Because I think he played in Philadelphia's AHL team, the Phantoms. Yes, he did. 99, 2000, and 2000, 2001.
So we just got to fill this one. Somebody that won a Stanley Cup, played for Philadelphia and Tampa. Dino Ciccarelli never won, and he never played for Philadelphia.
No, Dino Ciccarelli never won. He didn't play for Philadelphia though.
Yeah, no. Joel Otto ever played for Tampa?
No, he played for only Calgary and Philly, I believe.
Did Curtis Foster ever play for Pittsburgh?
I don't think so. I think he was Minnesota, Philly, and Tampa.
Because I think he has a cup.
He never played for Pittsburgh.
He doesn't have a cup. He doesn't have a cup. No.
Oh.
He only has 42 goals in his career, though.
Yeah, he never won a cup.
So that's a little bit of a problem. This is a good one today, guys.
Jeff Carter never played for Tampa.
Yeah. It's that guy that's got to play for Tampa. I don't think Mike Richards ever played for Tampa, obviously.
No, he went from Philadelphia to Los Angeles, and that was it. And then the drug incidents happened.
Zach Bogosian, did he ever play for Tampa?
Yes.
So I don't think he played for Pittsburgh.
Not
He
Tampa.
played for Tampa, but he never played.
He never
Ooh,
played for
you know
Philly.
what? He might actually fit this.
Who?
Bogosian. I think he was a cup winner with Tampa.
He was a cup winner with Tampa, but he never played for Philly.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he never played for Philly. Damn it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Shit.
where I'm having trouble at the moment. Somebody that played for Philly, and it's not certainly not Chris Pronger, obviously, because he never played for.
Yeah, remember he didn't have to win. He just had to win.
Didn't have to win with Tampa. I know. I'm just rattling down.
Yeah.
Right now, just spitballing.
Corey Sarich? No, he never played. I don't think he played for Pittsburgh or Philly.
No, I don't think he played for Philly. Corey Sarich played in Tampa and Calgary.
And the goals, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, the goals part. Damn it.
How about Pablo Kubina?
I don't think he played for Philly.
Yes, he did. Yeah, he did. 2012.
Okay.
He's got 110 goals in his career.
I don't think he ever played for Pittsburgh.
He didn't play for Pittsburgh.
No, he never played
and he
for
played for the
Pittsburgh.
Adirondack Red Wings.
But he doesn't matter. He didn't play for the Penguins.
Right, but that's the
We don't
top.
need him
We
for
just got to
that.
get the Stanley Cup
We
winner.
don't need him for that.
No? Oh.
Yeah.
We don't need. No, this is what we need
No,
Kubina for. Or Nate
Yeah.
Thompson could be another one. Nate Thompson has a Stanley Cup, right?
Yeah.
Does he have it with Anaheim?
I believe he won with Anaheim.
He doesn't have a Stanley Cup. He didn't win with Anaheim. He was there afterwards. Shit.
All right. So
I would see Kubina.
It gave us a unique score of 12, but
Yeah.
this is our last guy. This isn't Nate Thompson?
Fedotenko.
No, this is
Ruslan
Fedotenko.
yeah.
This is Fedotenko.
I wonder if he's
Fedotenko.
the only answer here.
All right.
Yeah, he had to be the only answer then.
Okay, so it's Ruslan Fedotenko was the only answer. Now, me screwing up and going Pablo Kubina, that gave us the second one. Actually, that was the only other choice we could have made, because we could have made
What are those?
Ruslan Fedotenko.
I can't read those other two names. Those names.
Valtteri Filppula was number
It's
one.
Valtteri
with 3
Filppula and
points.
Ruslan Fedotenko, so we actually had the best possible score.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
We went with, who did we go with for the third one? Doug Crossman, which was the second best one. Jan Hlavich, oddly enough.
Yeah, he was in the Lindros trade, and then he played for Tampa later.
Yeah. Jan Hlavich, and then this one could be almost anybody. We'll just throw out the name. Orest. No, I'm not even going to try pronouncing that one. All right. Okay, here we go, guys. We are ready to do some obscurities.
All right.
And all right, for those of you joining us for the first time, obscurities. That's where we name an obscure player that played 100 games in the NHL for 5 or more teams. We have to guess how many of those teams, and who would like to start us off.
I have 6 for both of you guys. Unless
I got
you
my
want me to
6.
go first.
All right. You want to go first, Mark?
Yeah, okay, I'll go first.
All right. I'll give you my 3. Phil, you got the timer?
Give me 1 second. I think I honestly think I went really hard on you guys this week. I think this week's going to be tough for you guys, but let's do this.
All right, Mark. So your first player, 726 games, and he played for 6 teams. His name is Jason Weimer.
Jason Weimer played for the Calgary Flames, the Tampa Bay Lightning, the Washington Capitals.
No.
Montreal Canadiens.
No.
San Jose Sharks.
No.
Vancouver Canucks.
No.
The Edmonton Oilers.
No.
The Minnesota Wild.
Yes.
Columbus Blue Jackets.
No.
Atlanta Thrashers.
No.
Stop. 3.
Oh, you got 3. You missed the Panthers, Islanders, Devils, and you just said Lightning, Flames, and what was the other team you said? Wild, right?
Yeah.
So
I just say the Wild, but I also said there was another one. Vancouver, was it?
No, it wasn't Vancouver.
Because it was the Wild was the third one. Yeah.
Yeah. So you missed Panthers, Islanders, and Devils.
I completely forgot he was a New Jersey Devil. I know he was a New York Islander. Now that you mention it.
Yeah.
I knew he was a Panther, and I knew he was an Islander at one point.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Devils, I remember it now, but I forgot about it briefly. I knew there were 2 teams you were missing for sure.
It's like every time we do Dean McCammon.
All right, Mark, your second player. Just pull him up here. All right, your second player, Mark, played in 557 games, and he played for 5 teams. His name is Craig Johnson.
Craig Johnson.
Yeah.
The LA Kings.
Yes.
The St. Louis Blues.
Yes.
The Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yes.
The Buffalo Sabres.
No.
Tampa Bay Lightning.
No.
Vancouver Canucks.
No.
Detroit Red Wings.
No.
San Jose Sharks.
No.
Stop.
You missed the Ducks and the Capitals.
Yeah, I knew the Ducks. The Capitals was the team I wouldn't have gotten. I was waiting for you to say Anaheim.
Yeah. Did anybody ever say time? Because I just felt like it was time.
I did. I did.
Oh, good. Because I just kind of felt I couldn't name every team in the league fast enough.
So you got 3 on that.
3. So he's got 6 so far.
6 total.
Yeah. All right, Mark, your last player. The last player is tricky. I think he played for 7 teams, 934 games. Confident you're gonna get one of them, but I'm not sure how many you're gonna get. Best guess, but his name is Ken Klee.
Ken Klee, Washington Capitals.
Yes.
The New Jersey Devils.
Yes.
I'm gonna say the New York Islanders. I don't think he played for them.
No, he did not.
The Quebec Nordiques.
No.
Right. The Toronto Maple Leafs.
You said them.
Okay.
Stop.
Sorry. I should have 3 on that.
Did you say what? You said what was the other team?
Capitals, Devils,
Oh,
Maple
sorry,
Leafs.
you said that.
So he did get
Yeah.
three. No,
All right.
he's right. Yeah,
You're right.
So
you
the teams
missed
that you missed Colorado. That
Yeah.
one I knew for sure.
Atlanta,
Yeah.
Anaheim, and Phoenix.
Yeah, I forgot he even played for Anaheim and Phoenix.
Yeah,
I remember because I wanted to use Ken Klee, but here's the problem with Ken Klee. How many times? I'm going to say Ken Klee one more time.
I thought you were only going to get Washington, to be honest with you, because
because
he was a trade deadline acquisition for them in Toronto in 2004, I think.
Well, even as you're saying Ken Klee right now, were you thinking Brendan Witt?
No,
that's just how my mind works.
No, because they played together in Washington as a pairing too.
Yeah, so you kind of like, isn't that the same player? Really? I don't know.
No, but Ken Klee was a little more of like the Jay Bouwmeester, steady, not too physical type defensive defenseman. Brendan Witt was the tough guy. It was like the fire and ice.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Who wants to go next?
You know what? I will. Anthony, you want to take three from me?
Sure.
All right. I got this. I got this. The timer.
All right, Anthony. So this one has played 465 games over 9 years with 7 teams. This is Frantisek, a.k.a. Frankie Kuchera.
The Canucks?
Yes.
Oilers?
No.
Bruins?
No.
Flames?
No.
Whalers?
Yes.
Thrashers?
No.
Devils?
No.
Capitals?
Yes.
Sabres?
No.
Time.
Jets.
What did he say? What was that last one you said?
Winnipeg Jets, he said.
Winnipeg Jets.
No.
Right.
So you missed Chicago.
And the Ottawa Senators, right?
Columbus, Pittsburgh, and Philadelphia.
All right.
He was in the Jaromir Jagr trade in 2001.
All right. So
Wow.
3. All right.
Wonder who that guy was. I was thinking.
Right.
Of. 3. I thought you got 4.
No,
3.
3. You got it.
Yeah, he got Washington, Vancouver, and Hartford.
Yeah.
You got it. All right. That's why it's good we check it, guys.
All right. Anthony, this next one has played in 588 games over 12 years with 5 different teams. Mark, you ready?
Yes, I am.
This is Kevin McClelland.
Sharks?
No.
Ducks?
No.
Maple Leafs?
Yes.
Whalers?
No.
Devils?
No.
Canucks?
No.
Canadians?
No.
Blues?
No.
Blackhawks?
No.
Capitals?
No.
Avalanche?
No.
Time.
1.
So the one that you got was Toronto. You missed Edmonton, Pittsburgh, Detroit, and Winnipeg.
Dirty pool, old man. Philk is really gunning for us today.
Yeah. What was
Phil
his
did
name?
not like losing last week.
Kevin what?
Kevin McClelland.
Yeah, name doesn't. The name I can't picture him.
Anthony, you should have seen my
Played
expression
from
when
82
he
to 92. Or actually, 82 to
my
94.
expression.
Sorry.
All right, so 1.
All right. This one, I think, is... Oh, no. Oh, fuck. Okay. Oh, shit. This one didn't reach the game's requirement. Shit. I thought he did. All right.
You had 5 teams or you had under 100 games?
No, it's under 100 games. I thought it said another number. I misread. Sorry. Hold on. All right. I'm going to give you a different one, Anthony.
Okay.
I had this one reserved for Mark, but this player played 122 games over 6 years with 5 teams. Anthony, this is Jim Montgomery.
Stars?
Yes.
Blues?
Yes.
Canucks?
No.
Sabres?
No.
Flames?
No.
Jets?
No.
Canadians?
Yes.
Coyotes?
No.
Blackhawks?
No.
Whalers?
No.
Time.
3.
So you
Did he play for
missed
the Bruins?
Philadelphia and the Sharks.
All right.
All right. So what was that?
3.
3.
So he got 3 on each of them, so he has 9.
All right. So there we go. There's a scoreboard so far. As Mr. Filkowski is ready to take.
I got 1. I got 1 on the second player, Phil. I didn't get 3. I didn't get 3.
Oh, that's right. You got 1 on the second. Okay, so I'm giving you, so that's 7 then. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Phil, here's my first 3 for you.
Okay.
Timer.
And I'll start with a guy that played for 8 NHL teams, and he played 1,157 games. Anthony, you ready with the timer?
Yep.
His name is Eric Weinrich.
Devils, Hartford
1,
Whalers,
2,
Blackhawks,
3,
Flyers,
4,
St. Louis,
5.
Buffalo,
Nope.
Islanders,
Nope.
Montreal.
6.
You said 9.
8. You got 2 more.
Tampa,
Nope.
Boston.
Time.
7. You got Boston in time. Vancouver is the only one you were missing. So, wow. That's a strong showing to start.
Oh, yeah. That's
all right.
Yeah, I was very familiar with Eric Weinrich.
I'm going to try to ratchet these up a little bit more for you because let's go with a guy that played 761 games for 5 NHL teams, and his name is Michael Anderson.
Islanders?
No.
Tampa?
1.
Calgary?
No.
Nashville?
No.
San Jose?
No.
Anaheim?
Nope.
Florida?
Nope.
Boston?
No.
Philadelphia?
2.
Time.
Time. All right. You had 3 more.
I was getting confused with Nicholas.
Yeah, I was gonna say you got him when you were renaming the teams. I'm like, he's thinking Nicholas Anderson.
Yeah.
Yep,
Buffalo, Hartford, and Vancouver. So that puts you up to 9. Let me just.
I was going to say Buffalo, too. That was the next team I was going to. Damn it. Shit.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. And once you get the first name on this right, you'll be in the lead, should you get any of them, which I bet you will. Because this player played 503 games in the NHL. He played for 5 teams, and his name is Ian White.
Toronto?
1.
Arizona/Phoenix?
Nope.
Chicago?
Nope.
Detroit?
2.
Anaheim?
Nope.
San Jose?
3.
Calgary?
4.
Vancouver?
Nope.
Ottawa?
Nope.
Time.
You were missing Carolina.
Oh,
Carolina.
I knew there was a Southeast team in there. I couldn't remember. Shit.
So Phil jumping out to a 13 on that. Damn. That Eric Weinrich really kind of hurt me on that one. I guess I shouldn't have saved him for Phil. Yeah, I didn't think he was going to get all of those, but still.
Yeah, Weinrich was a well-traveled guy.
Yes, he was. All right. Phil, hit me with your 3. I gotta completely just call it.
I need to get one more for you because I took one of yours. Montgomery was going to be for you, and I moved it over to Anthony.
So I can give Anthony my 3 then, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Anthony. While he's doing that,
can you do the timer, Mark, so I can look.
I can do the timer too. Go ahead. All right, Anthony. I got 3 players for you.
Mhm.
This guy played 456 games in the NHL for 6 teams. His name is Troy Millette.
Senators,
1.
Rangers,
2.
Canucks,
No.
Jets,
No.
Bruins,
3.
Coyotes,
No.
Maple Leafs,
No.
Sabres,
No.
Canucks,
Nope.
Chicago,
No end time.
3.
The ones you got the Rangers, the Senators, and the Bruins. You were missing the Edmonton Oilers, the Tampa Bay Lightning, and Philk. What's the last one?
Hartford Whalers.
The New Jersey Devils. He was in the Adam
New
Graves
Jersey Devils.
compensation. So Anthony with his 3 puts him in second. Now he's got 10.
All right,
again-
I got the timer now. I got you my other one. Yeah. So
Anthony's got.
Just go through Anthony's.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, just go through Anthony's.
I'm gonna go through Anthony's. All right, Anthony. Here's your next one. All right, so you got the timer, right, Phil?
Yes, yeah, I got the timer now.
All right. Anthony, your guy. I think we've said his name lots of times at Puck Doku, but he played 1,195 games in the NHL for 5 teams, and his name is Dave Babbage.
Whalers,
1.
Oilers,
No.
Canucks,
2.
Rangers,
Nope.
Bruins,
Nope.
Jets,
3.
Canadians,
Nope.
North Stars,
Nope.
Capitals,
Nope.
Flames,
Nope.
Time.
You missed Philadelphia and LA.
3 again.
LA.
LI. LI. And that ties you
Anthony
for the
off to me
lead
there.
right now, Anthony. You got tied for the lead. Here's your last guy who played for 6 NHL franchises. He played 699 games. Why couldn't it be 700? 699 games. His name is Michael Samuelson.
Canucks,
1,
Red Wings,
2,
Penguins,
3.
Thrashers,
No.
Oilers,
No.
Blackhawks,
No.
Blues,
Nope.
Predators,
Nope.
Rangers,
4.
Devils,
No.
Flyers,
Nope.
Hurricanes.
Time.
Nope. All right. So you got 4 out of the 6. The ones you were missing, Phil, do you want to fill them in?
San Jose. And
Whom he was traded for Adam Graves.
Yeah, and Vancouver.
No, Vancouver he got. Florida was the one he missed.
Florida, sorry. Florida was the other one.
All right. So Anthony with 4 now puts him at 17, which is a nice start. We'll see whether or not he could trip up Philk. And there's our scoreboard right there. All right, Philk, put me out of my misery. Let's see if I can even catch Anthony.
All right. So, Anthony, you got a timer?
Yeah.
All right. So, this player has played 360 games over 9 years for 6 different teams. Mark, this is Aaron Gavey.
Oh, my goodness. Dallas Stars.
Yes.
Colorado Avalanche.
No.
Detroit Red Wings.
No.
Shit. Calgary Flames.
Yes.
LA Kings.
No.
San Jose Sharks.
No.
Vancouver Canucks.
No.
Florida Panthers.
No.
The Tampa Bay Lightning.
Yes.
Time.
Okay. Time.
Yep. Yeah.
many did I
So
get?
you missed Minnesota, Anaheim, and Toronto.
All right. So how many did I get? 4 or 3?
3.
Got it.
3 out of the 6.
This is that. Is it always funny that when we have these guys, there's always one particular team we could think of right away with these guys.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron gave you,
Yep,
obviously, I went
always.
right to Dallas. All right. Phil, go ahead. Hit me with number 2.
All right. So this player has played 388 games over 11 years for 6 different teams. Mark, this is Ken Sutton.
Ken Sutton, New York Islanders,
Yes.
New Jersey Devils,
Yes.
Philadelphia Flyers,
No.
Boston Bruins,
No.
Buffalo Sabres.
Yes.
Okay. Toronto Maple Leafs,
No.
Ottawa Senators,
No.
Detroit Red Wings.
No.
Time.
I'm gonna go LA. LA
Time.
Kings.
No.
No. So you missed San Jose, Edmonton, and St. Louis.
All right. So I got 3.
3 again, yeah.
Yeah, 3 out of the 6.
3 again. I got me to 15. Because as soon as you said Ken Sutton, I'm gonna think Andy Sutton right away, aren't I? Anyway.
All right.
Here we go. Let's see if I can get to second place or how bad I'm gonna finish in third.
Oh man. All right. This one's tough. This one's super obscure. So this player has played 120 games over 6 years for 5 teams. Mark, this is Steve Maltese.
Damn you. Ottawa Senators.
No.
Minnesota North Stars.
Yes. Oh my
Okay.
God.
Hartford Whalers.
No.
Detroit Red Wings.
Yes.
So Calgary Flames.
No.
Atlanta Flames.
No.
LA Kings.
No.
Time.
You missed Columbus, Tampa, and Washington.
2.
I can't believe you got anyone from that. That's incredible.
And I specifically had to go to Minnesota North Stars.
Oh my God. And the fact that it was the North Stars.
It's one of those, it's sort of like our friends. What are you doing? I'm taking a shot. You got it right. Keep shooting.
So
oh my God. And then he got
tied
Detroit.
me.
Wow. Couldn't even
I
believe
tied you,
that.
yeah. And
breaking. Darren Dreger. It's believed Parayko to Buffalo is going to happen. Things are being finalized. Player needs to approve.
Wow. Okay. That's the first semi-big trade since Panarin.
okay, so let's get the breaking news up there for that one, guys. And we'll get a banner.
Anthony, you still have to get me mine.
Yeah,
right?
I have them. We'll until more news filters out, Mark. Let's just go back to obscurities here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I was going to put Parenko in there, but I forgot how to spell his name. All right, Anthony.
Wow.
Here we go.
Hold on. All right. All right, Phil. Mark, you got the timer?
Got the timer.
All right, Phil. Your first player played in 507 games, and he played for 5 teams. His name is Curtis Glencross.
Calgary, Washington.
Yep.
Anaheim.
Yep.
Philadelphia.
No.
Florida.
No.
Nashville.
No.
St. Louis.
No.
Boston.
No.
Tampa.
No.
Minnesota Wild.
No.
Time.
So you missed Columbus and Edmonton.
Oh, fuck. Columbus. I remember him in Columbus. Edmonton, I probably might have forgotten.
I got to tell you,
Columbus,
I was
do
sitting
remember.
there when you said it. So it's 3 of them, right?
Yep.
Or 2?
3.
Yeah, 3.
When you said Curtis Glencross, I'm like, oh, he played for Tampa. I know that. And when Phil said it and you said no, I'm just going, uh-oh. Keep your mouth shut.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
By the way, remember when Colton Parayko was supposed to be like the greatest thing ever?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't remember like greatest thing ever, but they were really high on him for a while. Which, I mean, he turned out to be a decent defenseman, just not a guy you should have had on your Olympic roster. I'm sorry. I'll say it again. They should have had Schaefer.
You got the time?
I got the time.
All right. So, Phil, your second player.
You spelled Dreger wrong, by the way, Mark.
Oh, okay. Oops.
Dreger. No A in there.
So, your player, 515 games, over 5 teams. His name is Ondrej Palat.
Tampa Bay.
Yep.
Buffalo.
No.
LA.
No.
Florida.
No.
Boston.
Yes.
Ottawa.
Yes.
Toronto.
No.
Montreal.
No.
Calgary.
Yes.
Philadelphia.
No. You missed Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh. Shit. All right.
So you got 4.
Right. He got 4?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Ondrej Palat, immediately I remembered him on Tampa Bay Lightning.
All right.
All right. So Phil is taking the lead.
More information from Dreger, and I'm surprised. He said, sounds like Radim Murka and a first will be part of it.
Wow. So
he was just drafted.
Who? Wait. So Parayko is going to
Buffalo, and they're
how do you spell Radim? How do you spell Murka again?
MRTKA. Wow.
All right.
That's crazy.
Let's just finish this last player so you can.
Okay.
I wonder what this means for Owen Power.
I think Owen Power is going to be an ex-Sabre soon.
Yeah, I think sooner than later. Yeah.
All right, Phil. This last player, it's going to be your hardest, but 282 games played over in his career, as well as 5 teams. His name is Joel Kwiatkowski.
Kwiatkowski, Ottawa.
Yes.
Washington.
Yes.
Nashville.
No.
Philadelphia.
No.
Toronto.
No.
Boston.
No.
Florida.
Yes.
Colorado.
No.
Anaheim.
No.
Vancouver.
No.
And time.
Pittsburgh and Atlanta.
I fucking knew Atlanta too. Shit.
All right.
Pittsburgh, I wouldn't have remembered.
So what was the final on that one?
3.
All right. Phil with 23 on the day. There you are. You're the winner. You're a winner. You're a winner. And let's get those balloons out for Phil. So Colton Parayko is a trade we can announce in this afternoon. A little bit of a shocker, guys.
Yeah.
And that
Wow.
Dreger says
Okay.
it sounds like Radim Murka is going to be part of that.
Yeah.
Are you
That's
surprised?
a lot to give up for Colton Parayko. Sorry, Mark.
Is he a
Go ahead.
pending UFA?
Colton
No,
Parayko?
no.
No. He's got 4 years left after this at $6.5 million. He's got a full no trade for this year and the next 2. And his final 2 years in 28-29 and 29-30 are a 15-team no trade list.
Okay, so you got to look at Buffalo's blue line and kind of just think, even with power on it, you got
he's paid until he's 37.
Here's my feeling on it. I mean, certainly Buffalo turned the corner. They're definitely going to make the playoffs. But you just traded for a guy, first round. Murka was what, like 13th overall, roughly round?
No, I think
Murka was
he
like
in the top 10.
I thought he was like 8 or 9.
That's what I thought. I thought I remember him being like 8 or 9.
9. You're right. Yes. So 9.
Yeah.
Back to my point. So you just traded a 9th overall pick and a first for a guy who's 32. I mean, don't get me wrong. Parayko's still good, but it's not like he's 27. He's 32 years old.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
And actually, he's 32, turning 33. His birthday's in May.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't really like this deal a whole lot. I mean, I like what they're doing and trying to reinforce for a playoff run. I get it, but that's a lot to give up for if they were closer to being a cup contender, I would say yeah. And I know it's funny because this goes back to that bar talk before. Are they legitimate cup contenders? Well, it depends on how the next 2 days go.
Yep.
I just think a 32-year-old defenseman is a little too old to be giving up a first and a top prospect for. And I wonder what other moves are being made. Like, I know I don't think Power's going anywhere in the next 2 days. But do you move him for offensive help if you can get it within the next 2 days?
What piece though? Because the two best players are Kyrou and Thomas. It seems like the fact that they made a deal with them, it's not going to be for any of them. So what other player would you trade Owen Power for that's available? Unless it's a guy we don't know of, you know what I'm saying? Because everyone else, obviously, you're not trading Owen Power for, Trocheck or, Kadri or Brock Besser, Garland, guys like that. So that's the only part of it. But I guess we'll have to wait and see how it plays out.
Okay. Well, all right. So hear me out. Elias Pettersson.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with Pettersson, which is you kind of outlined it, ever since he signed his contract, though, his numbers have been really bad. So it's like, and that contract is big.
Like, yeah, it's $11.6 million. And I mean, I don't know if, I mean, I look at Buffalo, they have 1.72 remaining in cap space projected, but something has to be going back the other way in order for them to make this. Oh no, hold on. Oh no, they have 7.5 in current cap space. Deadline cap space 7.865 according to Puckpedia. So hold on. I want to see this from could you send Jack Quinn and Owen Power to Vancouver for Elias Pettersson with a first round pick? Could you do that? Like, Quinn has not had the numbers that he's needed to have. Like, his 2023-24 season was decent because he had 19 points in 27 games, 9 goals. Then last year, 15 goals, 39 points in 74 games. Not what you expected after that year. And then this year, 12 goals, 38 points in 61 games. He's going to break the 40-point mark. But if that helps you bring in a 26-year-old a top 6 center, I mean, you could probably put him behind Tage Thompson. Or no, he's 27. Sorry, he's 27.
Yeah. This is Pettersson, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You put him behind Tage Thompson. But
I think if you give him a new city and a new lease on life and a place where he doesn't have any history, you wipe it clean, I think you could see a lot of good stuff that comes out of him.
If he can get back to being a point per game player, you could justify 11.6. You don't like it, but with the cap going up, you can justify You could justify that on a point per game. But I think that, MYR for life. I don't think Minnesota moves Wallstedt.
I think they're insane
I
to
think
move
they
Wallstedt.
should, but I don't think it's now.
I wouldn't have done it. I would have moved Gustafsson.
So would I, but I don't think. I think the other team, they committed to Gustafsson. That's the problem.
Like, why? Why? I still don't get it. I really just don't get it.
And they gave him a no move. Well, you know what? That deal hasn't kicked in yet. They could technically deal him right now. They have until July 1st.
How many times does that happen where a guy signs an extension that year and then it doesn't kick in yet? I mean, we talked about that with Shesterkin, and I've always said that if that happened, then it's going to be it's not good for business. Like, I'm going to sign you an extension, they deal you.
So I don't know if any of you saw this yet, but Sarah Valley just said 1 minute ago, he said, as Darren Dreger reports, the Blues and Saberhood have framework of a trade in place, but he says, however, at this exact moment, Parayko has not made a decision yet on whether to waive full no trade clause. He's been presented with the option. Odds are he says yes, but not there yet.
Okay. All right. That's actually big thing to keep in mind.
Yeah, I don't. It's hard for me to say that I wouldn't move Gustafsson, but Gustafsson's had good numbers this year, and he had good numbers last year too. The numbers are very close. 911 save percentage this year, 914 last year. 2.54 goals against this year, 2.56 last year. And he was sixth in Vezina voting. I mean, he's going to get Vezina votes. He is getting the lion's share of the games. Although I do think Wallstedt's been the better goalie. I think he's been better. I know that the goals against average is higher, and Wallstedt's played less games, but I think you're looking at Wallstedt being the better goalie. I don't know. That's just me. But then again, Gustafsson is young enough to the point where you can still build around him. I mean, he's only 27. He's going to be 28 in June.
Who are you talking about?
Wallstedt and Gustafsson.
Oh.
You can talk about cap percentages all you want with Igor. And, yeah, Lundqvist played his first 3 years behind Marek Malik and Michael Roosevelt as a top pairing. Igor Shesterkin has had Adam Fox playing 23 minutes in front of him every year of his career. Every year of his career. 23-plus minutes. Henrik Lundqvist would have killed for someone like Adam Fox in his prime years. He had that 1 year with Adam Fox. And Lundqvist was a shell of himself at that point. So, if there's anything that Igor Shesterkin cannot complain about, it's the fact that he's had better defenses in front of him than Henrik Lundqvist for the vast majority of Lundqvist's career. You want to talk about 2014? Okay, Anton Strahlman's development was huge for them because Mark Stahl started regressing after the eye injury and the Eric concussion.
Yeah.
And Strahlman really kind of held him up for a good year and change before Strahlman left for Tampa because that was the dumbest decision they could have made. No, he was not.
No,
he was
not.
I
wouldn't say that.
No, absolutely not. There is a reason Adam Fox won a Norris. Ryan McDonough might play more physical, might have been a better skater, but Adam Fox is a better defenseman than Ryan McDonough ever was. And this is now turning into revisionist history, is what this is doing. Fox won a Norris for a reason.
How did we get on?
Go look at the eye test and the analytics agree on Adam Fox. I think people forget how good Adam. No, he did not win a Norris for scoring. No, he didn't. Absolutely not. He was not even the highest scoring defenseman in
more breaking news. Elliot Friedman said, hearing Utah and Calgary are closing in on a Mackenzie Weegar deal that awaits approval.
Okay. I mean, that's good for Utah because they need a defenseman. They absolutely need somebody to come in and play defense for them.
Floodgates are opening.
I mean, I look at that team. I think that they need a top 4 guy, preferably a guy that can play top pairing. But they need a top 4 guy, legitimate top 4 guy.
All right, let's take a look at Weegar.
Clayton Keller leading the charge in scoring. Nick Schmaltz right behind him. Dylan Gunther's had a really good year.
So Mackenzie Weegar is actually 32 as well, but the difference is he just turned 32 in January. So he's basically almost a year younger than Parayko. I'm curious to see what he returns then.
Yeah, and Weegar, I mean, I know he's kind of fallen off a bit, but Calgary has not been good for the majority of time that he's been there. So 6.25 has a full no trade, and then his final 4 years because he's got 5 years left after this.
Yeah. All right. So it says Puckpedia says Utah has 27 mil of current cap space, so there's certainly no need for them to send salary back or any sort of retention. So I'm curious if this
Weaver's been pretty good in Calgary.
This might
his first year wasn't the greatest, but he had 20 goals and 52 points 2 years ago, 8 goals and 47 points last year. This year, Calgary has been really kind of a dumpster fire, so I can't really hold that against him.
Yeah. Utah also has the first, and then they have 3 second-round picks. They have the Rangers second, Ottawa second, and then their own. So I think with them having oodles of cap space and not needing, I think this is going to be a strictly futures package. If I had to guess, I'd probably say they're going to give up their first, and then maybe a prospect. Nothing like Simashev. I don't think they need to move Simashev in this deal, but I do think they're going to need to move a prospect, maybe someone like Maverick Lamoureux, possibly.
Yeah, I could see like Maverick Lamoureux, maybe Daniil Boot.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll move Simashev, but I think Boot and Lamoureux could be names that you could see in this deal.
Yeah. Let's see if there's any more info.
Yeah, I could definitely see that.
All right, well, two right-hand shot defensemen off the board.
I'll tell you right now, right-hand shot defensemen are always in demand come trade deadline time.
I wonder if Fitzgerald is sitting, because if you saw the tweet from LeBron earlier about Simon Nemec, I wonder if Fitzgerald's sitting back right now watching these much older players in Parayko and Weegar get traded and him salivating of what he could possibly get for Simon Nemec.
Yeah, and not only that, but you're talking about this, but Lundqvist's goals saved above expected and all the analytics are through the roof. They're like, he trumps everybody in his class in the analytics. If you look back at the analytics, it's nuts. People talk about Price and how good Price was. Like his are here, Lundqvist's are like here.
Yeah, Lundqvist is like saves above expected and stuff like that, and take it for what you will with a grain of salt. They're a lot higher than any goalie of his era.
Especially in the playoffs, it's even crazier. There's no one that comes close to him in the playoffs.
I like this move for Utah. Because their right side right now is Jersey.
You know who I would have loved this move for, or even Parayko? I would have loved it for Dallas.
Yeah, but I mean, these players are going to cost a lot more than what they paid for Myers. They did cost.
Yeah, I just don't think. Listen, I think Myers is still an upgrade on the right side, but they needed something else on that right side badly in Dallas. They really do. I get they're working with cap space issues, but
as I was saying, so I mean, Utah's right side is Durzi, Marino, and Nick DeSimone. So I mean, Nate Schmidt can play either side, but I think he plays the left for them. So this is a good move. I mean, Mackenzie Weegar is a good puck moving defenseman. I like this move better than Buffalo getting Parayko.
I like Parayko the player. I just don't like the age, and I don't like. Utah's in a similar situation though, where they're a younger team, and I don't know how adding a 32-year-old defenseman really goes along with their future, but I think those teams are all getting desperate. I think Buffalo is getting desperate. They did it out of desperation to make sure that they keep that playoff spot. And I think the Mammoth are doing the same thing. They have Seattle hot on their ass.
They do, yeah.
And they're close to a division spot, I believe.
Who?
Utah.
What? No, Utah's in the Central.
Oh, right? No, they're in the Central. That's right.
Yet.
Yeah, they're not even close to Minnesota. That's never mind. No, but they have Seattle right on their ass, and then not only that, but they could lose that spot if they start falling off, because right behind Seattle is San Jose.
Yeah,
San Jose is only 3 points behind Seattle with 1 game in hand. And then you got LA with 62, and Nashville's selling off, but LA just added Panarin. You don't know how that's going to work out. The only saving grace for Utah and Seattle about LA is although they added Panarin, they lost Fiala. Oh, it's going to be an interesting one.
Well, hopefully it's an interesting one that starts Friday morning at 10:30 when we start our trade deadline coverage.
Yeah. No, that's going to be interesting. It's going to be real interesting.
It's, by the way, and again, let me just say this, Buck. You still play to win the games. Tanking doesn't help. Look at Utah. They tried to tank. They never recovered. Buffalo tried to tank. They didn't really recover. You don't want to be a losing organization. That spirit festers and lingers forever. No, absolutely not. Don't do that. Don't do that. It's not a good idea.
Yeah, I think Fox is definitely going to be like an off-season thing. I think that's a bigger trade that happens in the off-season. I think if he really is pissed and wants out, and I don't think it would just be about the comment. I think it would also be about the direction of the team and where they're going and where he sees himself in 3 to 5 years. You got to remember.
I think it's also he's right now in his prime. When you looked at him when he first showed up, he wasn't in his prime yet. Now he is. And now he might.
Johnny Lazarus brought up a good point. He brought up San Jose.
For Fox?
I mean, why not?
Yeah. I mean, you could, or if you're telling me that you could get a right shot defenseman in San Jose, which they need a top level guy, that doesn't have to be and Johnny's right. He's not Makar. He's not Hughes. Those guys take over the games by themselves with their skating and everything. But Fox makes everybody around them better.
Yes.
You're telling me
no slouch. So
you're telling me that you could go put him in San Jose with Celebrini and Smith. You can afford to send back a Sam Dickinson. You could afford to send back a Quentin Musty or their other prospects. Like, you could afford to send those guys back.
I mean, do the Rangers take that, though? Because, I mean, probably, I mean, all jokes aside, look, I was going to joke and say they're going to ask for Macklin Celebrini for him because he's from Boston. That'd be the reason why. Or he played at Boston University, I mean to say. But that's not even where I'm trying to go with on this one. I mean, you heard of them talk about Drew Fortescue a lot. Like, what is going to be going on with him? Like, how close is he? Is he really going to project to beat somebody? I mean, I would love it if they go out and they get a Quentin Musty and a Sam Dickinson.
So, yeah, if I'm the Rangers and San Jose calls about Adam Fox, I want Dickinson. Probably not getting Will Smith. Can you get William Eklund in that deal? Can you get Igor Chernyshov in that deal?
Yeah.
Should Joshua Ravensbergen be a piece that you could get back in that deal?
Yeah.
I mean, does Philip Bystead really excite you? I don't know. I think he projects as a middle six type guy. But Kasper Haltunen, Quentin Musty. So
I mean,
I would probably stay away from Musty just because of the skating. That's the biggest knock on Musty is his skating. He's got size, he's got skill, he's got hands. But the skating is really it.
all right.
This might actually be a good point here from David. He might want to stay, with that situation with his father-in-law.
It's a precarious situation. That's why, again, and I think the Rangers are also banking on his, childhood love for this team as well. But those only last so long. This is his career. And, they're pushing him. They're really pushing him out. And the thing is, I don't know why. If Adam Fox was healthy, you look at those numbers this year, I think it's 31 games, 24 points. Or it's something, he's close to like 0.3 points per game. I'm going to get the actual number for everybody. But it's like he's put up a real good season and should answer all the questions. Now, everybody's asking, 28 points, I'm sorry, in 33 games. Like everybody kind of asked, like, is Fox going to be able to bounce back? He bounced back. I mean, it's just, I would hate to give up on Fox, but did they already give up on him? That's the great question.
I mean, that's the question. Was that comment them giving up on him? I mean,
we wanted whiskey drinkers.
Yeah, I just don't see the need for that comment. It's just dumb.
Chris Letang is a whiskey drinker?
What?
Really? No, if he's going to say whiskey drinkers, Mike Sullivan coached Chris Letang. Like, let's not make it like that you need the toughest guys. And Adam Fox is mentally tough anyway, so it's not even where I'm getting at.
I think it just comes down to whether or not he wants to go through a retool or whatever it is.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it. I do think David is right though. Like, his father-in-law, I think, is on limited time from all things, and that could be something that keeps him here, possibly.
Yeah, but then
I don't know.
But again, let's not bank on that. If you're the Rangers, make sure you got. Make sure he's doing it. Keep him happy. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what the next 2 days how it goes for the Rangers. What they could do other than Trocheck potentially. Are they going to move? Are they going to move a Braden Schneider? Are they going to move some depth pieces like Carrick?
He has to go.
Will there be any surprises? Yeah. I don't know, and that's something Drury, I'm sure, is wrestling with right now. But the whole deal with Minnesota, Trocheck, if he even go there, I know there's all the talk about he wants to stay east, but Stremel, he's having a good year, but he's also a senior at 21 years old, so doing it. So I don't like.
They also say his skating isn't that great.
18 or 19, I'd be more excited by if I were a Ranger fan with what he's doing.
No,
I don't think you jump for joy if that's the return, especially because they don't have a first this year. They have a first in 2027. So it's like, how pissed off would you be if it's a 2027 first and Stremel?
If it's a 2027 first, I want Yurov.
Yeah,
I want Yurov. I don't want Stremel.
Honestly,
I don't.
Chris
I don't think
better not do his friend favors.
What?
You're not hamstrung the same way Vinny Trocheck is. Artemi Panarin is hamstringing him. Vinny Trocheck isn't a full no trade. But anyway,
I do think 13 is gone. I think 13 is gone, and yeah, I think that it's an off-season deal. I can't see it now. Like I think him for power makes a lot of sense for both teams.
Yeah,
I think it's a change of scenery hockey deal. It's a 1-for-1. It's two guys that have not lived up to expectations as number 1 overall picks 2 years in a row. The salary figures are close. It's position of need for both teams. Unless they could pawn off Owen Power on another team for a top young forward. I would have said Owen Power would be in a Robert Thomas deal so that St. Louis gets a young defender, especially after moving Parayko.
Yeah.
But again, Power was not included in the Blues deal.
He's not. And which, by the way, that move, let's just stress, that move's not official. Not official yet. It seems Parayko still needs to sign off on it. Johnson.
Yeah.
Saravalli said it seems like he will, but it's not official yet. And same thing with Uyghur. That's a deal that he needs to sign off on. As I'm looking at Puckpedia right now, I'm pretty sure he has trade protection. Yes, he has a full no trade. So yeah, it's he's gonna have to wait for that, which I'm sure he's going to. But I think that's why these moves haven't been totally finalized yet.
All right. Hey guys, I got to wrap it up right here. We are going to be doing plenty of trade coverage, definitely Friday, but who knows, maybe tomorrow. Hopefully I don't have to cut short lunch or anything, but
yeah, I got hockey tomorrow night. I wouldn't be able to do anything tomorrow night.
But yeah, I got work tomorrow night.
Mark, you might be back on later if there's the Rangers.
Who knows? Who knows? Well, certainly, thank God I got the love and support of a understanding wife that goes, you got to get on. You got to get on with that. And Buck, just to say, the Islanders are not the same market they used to be. Yes, they almost moved the team 30 years ago, but now
whoever Buck is it's a troll. First off, he butchered the spelling of Tavares' name.
He wrote too fast, but don't worry about that. What the real thing is, the Islanders are actually valued as a top 10 market now. Yeah. So just look up Forbes. That's all you have to do. Don't worry about everything else. Just look that up. All right, guys, take it easy. We will see you soon, and catch us for the trade deadline and more breaking news coming this weekend.
By the way, Phil, that wasn't me, by the way.
That was Mark?
Yeah, wow, that's okay. In my message I said it was me. That's why I said actually that's for Mark.
My bad.
All right.
All right, well,
guys.
Let's see what goes on in the next little while here. But
it's the most wonderful time of the year.